Okay. Ghostopia, final episode. I still have no start screen, so I'm just gonna go with this. Yeah, I'll start the game. I guess anyone who is late and doesn't get here within the first 5 seconds gets to watch the VOD to see what happens. Violent scenes. For some reason, I didn't pay attention to this when I first saw it because I didn't think that there's gonna be any violence. The day I looked at her, then saw her. Let's go. Let's start. Let's start the beginning of the end. I've been waiting in this empty town, always waiting. Waiting for a certain someone. I've got work again today. I have to earn money. Money is an absolute necessity for any journey. But even without travel expenses, it's hard for ordinary citizens to survive. So I work in order to prevent myself from doing something stupid like dying of starvation as I wait. I work in an office in the corner of a government building that looks like a giant tombstone. As the noon bell rings, I leave the town hall under the pretense of taking a lunch break. As soon as I'm outside, I find a garbage can. Or maybe it's a plant pot. I'm not sure. Either way, there's an envelope attached to it, which I retrieve before heading back to town hall with a nonchalant look on my face. Oh, fuck! I always forget! I think I missed something. No, I didn't. Thank you for reminding me. On the way back, I visit a seedy cafe that's definitely not to my taste. I simply chose this place because it's busy. This is where I meet him. Oh, it's fine. Do whatever you need. Wouldn't it be nice if Twitch could I'm mostly gonna be reading anyways, as you know. Also, it'd be nice if Twitch could like detect the game that you're playing and change the category for you. I don't know, just a thought, just a thought. I simply chose this place because it's busy. This is where I meet him. He's an acquaintance of mine and a regular at this cafe. We chat, closer than strangers, but not quite friends. His hobby is sketching landscapes, so he often shows me his sketchbook. I pick it up. The paper in the sketchbook is quite high quality considering how all of the nation's resources are currently being funneled into the war effort. I flip through the pages and glance through them. Sometimes I give feedback if any sketches interest me. I return the sketchbook after slipping in the envelope I retrieved at noon between its pages. Nobody notices. The cafe's dim, and it reeks of alcohol. He pretends not to notice either as he takes the sketchbook back. Apparently this is how revolutionaries or whatever operate the country where political power is overly concentrated. Though it's not like I've got any interest at all in revolution. Are you sure you don't want to leave this town? I'm sure you could go anywhere you want. There's no need for you to share your destiny with a town like this. You've got the freedom, don't you? The man speaks. In my opinion, he seems to have way more freedom than I do. I give him a vague smile and get out of my seat. He's a few years younger than me. He's young and charming, yet he doesn't try to use his power for himself. That said, when I was younger than him, Or, I was younger than him when I started waiting for that certain someone, wasn't I? And thus another day comes to a close. I head back home. The salary is a pittance, so I'm earning, slowly but surely. The ordinary days continue. Work. Break. Envelope. Even after I've gotten used to retrieving the envelope, I'm still too nervous to eat my bread. Cafe. Talk with him. He's looking pale lately. This continues forever. Before I know it, the seasons have changed, but it's a different season in the same year, or a different season in a different year now. When I reach out to retrieve the envelope, someone grabs my hand. The secret police. I've never seen them before, but I recognize them immediately. A gunshot. The secret police falls. It's him, holding the gun. Not the person I'm waiting for, but him. I take his hand. We jump onto a train and watch the townscape fades into the distance. And then a bomb drops onto the town where that certain someone was supposed to come home to. I let out a vague laugh. Are we going back to Ghost Town? Here we are. When the image fades out and the credits start rolling, I remember that this was just a movie. A buzzer rings, and we slowly get up from our seats. My brain still feels numb. That was a straightforward plot, huh? The actors were fairly good, so it was worth a watch. The cinematography was beautiful too. They chose good filming locations. I think I get what you're trying to say, but it was still a little boring as a movie. What do you think, Sayoko? Well, I kind of spaced out, so... Wait, where's Yoru? Oh my, she's asleep. That girl, she must have been that bored. And I agree with her. Hey, don't say it that bluntly. It was an interesting movie, was it? I absent-mindedly watch as Pacifisa tries to wake up Yoru. There's an old movie theater, on the edge of an amusement park on the outskirts of town. That's where we are right now. Inside a dim box, lined with dense carpet, drenched in the smell of popcorn. It's the kind of place I just forget about until someone mentions it, but it looks like it still gets some business. It's the last screening of the day, and yet half the seats were full. It's mostly elderly ghosts, but there are a few young ghosts too. There's a group of girls around our age. They cheerfully leave their seats as they share their opinions of the movie. The noisiness would normally disrupt the pleasant aftertaste you feel after watching a movie, but it also reminds me that there are girls like that even among the ghosts in the town. I guess you can find girls like that everywhere. I don't really mind, since I wasn't too invested in that movie anyway, but if I were invested in it, I'd want to grab them by the backs of their necks and hurl them out of the theater. I start to think about how I'd catch them all without letting any of them escape, but I stop myself. That's not what we're here for today. We didn't come here to watch the movie. We came here to see a certain someone. As for why we watched the movie anyway, I guess it was to kill time, as we wait for this person's shift to end. In any case, the movie's not the main reason why we're here. We're here to see the movie Projectionist. I need to take a drink of water. This projectionist is, according to Anya, the most lit engineer in town. Since they're both engineers, it would make sense that they know each other. I think it's weird for the most lit engineer in town to work as a movie projectionist, but I guess there's not necessarily a correlation between what you're good at and what you do for a living. In any case, Anya suggested that this lit engineer could help us achieve our dearest wish of breaking through the snow desert and searching beyond, and maybe even discover my home country, which may or may not exist. Ever since Yoru arrived, we've been a little distracted with job searching and fighting against the church, but now that things seem to be calming down, we've decided to resume our activities. You could probably say that we are at peace. Astonishingly enough, whenever we walk around town lately, people greet not just Yoru, but me as well. I'm starting to remember the faces and names of more and more ghosts, and can even call a few of them my acquaintances now. 1 second. I'm gonna do something real quick. What the heck? Here we are. Okay, there we go. Though obviously I'm a little more cautious about people suddenly opening up to me, what with the whole Renja thing and all. Oh, speaking of Renja, oops. Speaking of Renja, she was apparently both an influential manufacturer and a broker of one of this town's guilty pleasures, so Pacifisa praised me for my accomplishment of cleaning up the town. This whole progression of events has brought me out of my comfort zone for sure, but I'm still glad about how things have turned out. I need to remember to thank Anya properly for setting things up today. That's what I think to myself as I try to deal with Yoru as she cozily mumbles in her sleep. By the time we head into the movie theater lobby, it's deathly quiet. There's not a soul talking, and the carpet even muffles the sound of footsteps. It feels like my ears have been plugged, as if all sounds have been blotted out. It looks like all the other moviegoers are already movie gone. There's nobody in the box office, and the concession stand's lights are off too. We're the only ones in the movie theater. Actually, scratch that. Then reverse it. There's probably still people behind the scenes, but it's an odd feeling being alone in a place that's usually bustling with people. It feels both exciting and dangerous. It gives the place a fresh charm. It's like a school building at night. I take a deep breath and let my imagination run wild. Behind the shut doors of the theater, at our backs, they're showing a real movie to their real clients. Whenever we're not around, they do something real that we don't get to see. Our idea of common sense is a sham. The real world happens behind these walls, while we go about our days blissfully unaware. I feel my nose prick up as shivers rise up my spine. My palms break out in a cold sweat. I've been entranced by the charm of the movie theater. Sayoko? Anya's voice snaps me back to my senses. We're going to meet up at the rear entrance. That's where the employees leave from. Oh, okay, let's go. When we leave the lobby, I look over my shoulder one last time. Pacifisa asks me if I've forgotten anything, but I frantically shake my head. Why did I look back? Do I just like movie theaters? Do I have some sort of special memory at the movie theater? We wait outside the theater, in front of what appears to be the staff entrance. As we wait, the light shuts off on the movie theater signboard, and employees start leaving at intervals. They all look startled when they see us. I mean, I guess it might look out of place for a group of girls to wait by the staff entrance of a movie theater after hours. Each time a new ghost comes out of the door, the three of us look at Anya. And each time, Anya wordlessly shakes her head. Is that the one? Nope. This must have happened at least 10 times. A smallish man appears from behind the door. He's short, thin, and has the same red hair as Anya, but his skin is literally pure white, which only makes his hair seem all the more vivid. He's a delicate young man who looks like he's never won a single arm wrestling match. None of the other employees has had this much trouble opening the door. He makes it look like it's as heavy and sturdy as the door to a bank vault. I can't help but hope it's not him. I don't know what it is about him, but he just seems obnoxious. The three of us look at Anya at the same time. I can't speak for anyone else, but my eyes say something like, "It's not him, is it?" Instead of answering us, Anya calls out to the man with a somewhat surprisingly cheerful voice. "Yo, Alec, you're as huge as ever today, maybe twice as big as yesterday." "Nice one. I am bigger than you, though." I can hear Pacifisa take in a deep breath beside me. When I turn her way, I see her taking a step forward, then speak up, with a customer service smile plastered onto her face. "Nice to meet you. You must be Alec. I'm Pacifisa. We've heard about you from Anya, so we came to meet you. Thank you for sparing us your precious time after work. I brought you some sweets from my friend's store. They're delicious, so try some if you'd like." I can smell a sweet scent coming from the paper bag in Pacifisa's hand all the way over here. And yet it might as well be poop in the bag the way that Alec goes ugh and ugh as he reluctantly picks it up. Yeah, he's obnoxious. I hope you find them to your liking, Alec. Ha, ha ha ha. Alec lets out a dry laugh. I can tell his forehead's sweaty despite the frigid temperature. Alec trembles and mumbles as he talks. I've got a bad feeling about this. "Milady Pacifisa, I'm shocked that you would call me my nickname upon our first meeting. You truly are a lady with the accomplishments of 10 and the connections of 100. I'm the kind of guy who's shocked when a stranger calls me a nickname, but it doesn't even faze you, huh? That's amazing." Pacifisa lets out a groan. Alec is short for Alexei. That's his name. I guess I should have made that clear, huh? Awkward silence. Everyone present is uncomfortable. "Nice to meet you, Mr. Alexei. You can call me Yoru, and that's Sayoko over there. She's a ninja." "Oh, and I'm the doctor at the psychiatry stand. My hobby is doing this and that with Sayoko. What do you like to do, Mr. Alexei?" "I've heard the rumors, Doc. It's probably obvious to you that my mental state is in shambles, but please, don't get on my case. I can't be healed." "Heh. And as for hobbies, I've got none. I'm just a boring man. Heh, heh." Yoru shrieks. "I hear you excel at engineering, isn't that right, Anya?" "This guy's a genius. I guarantee it." "That's a lie. There's tons of randos out there as good as me. I'm just the closest one within your reach. Right, Anya?" Whenever I look at this Alexei guy, I get this strange, irritable feeling. The way he speaks is obnoxious, but somehow, even his looks are the visual equivalent of nails on a chalkboard. Sayoko, this guy seems like he's in serious need of some counseling. I completely agree with you. Yoru deals with a lot of patients like this. They all look older than their age, but act younger than their age. And the dissonance between their appearances and their behavior irritates everyone around them. These people fuss over even the most trivial of mistakes, and even if you do something good for them, they don't appreciate it. In fact, they even find some way to berate you. They can't control their own nature, so the ones that come to Yoru for help are the ones that at least recognize that they can't control themselves. When I see them, it makes me wonder if I'm like that too. I mean, they don't even notice their own accursed disposition. They don't even understand themselves. If you're lucky, you might find one who thinks something's weird about themselves, but that's it. In other words, I think I might be like them and not know it. That would suck. I wouldn't want others to think of me like that. Even thinking like this makes me feel like I'm putting myself a step above them. Even thinking about thinking like that makes me feel Even thinking about thinking like that feels disgusting. I'm not good with those sorts of people, and I haven't even spoken a word to them. Damn it. It always ends up like this. Everyone's disgusted whenever I talk. I'm trying to be a nice guy here, but I don't get it. This sucks. Damn it. Let's just get to business already. Say, why don't we go to a cafe to talk, instead of talking outside? Nah, I'm good. An otaku like me would just disintegrate in a cafe. Otaku. That's another archaic word he's used. It refers to someone who'd rather be alone with machines, or games, or comics than interact with other people. The term otaku originated in my home country, but it's not a race, or a clan, or anything. It's an ideology. I suppose you could say the otaku are people of culture. In that case, fine. Let's talk here. I heard you can help us. That's right, Alexi. I'm sure we've talked about this before, but I want your expert advice to help us reach a breakthrough that I can't reach with my skill alone. You'd ask for help from a smelly otaku like me? I'm flattered. It might be hard to believe, but I do want to help you ladies out. If I can, that is. Whoa, thanks, Alec. But you see, I'm a little preoccupied. Basically, I need to finish my current research project first. Yeah. How long will this research project take? I don't know. Do you have a rough estimate at least? It'll take a long time, I can tell you that. But I don't want to pretend I know something that I don't. That's why I said, I don't know. You can't hurry it up just a teensy bit? You could also multitask. As if. We otaku are traditionally single taskers. That's news to me. Why are you in such a hurry? We ghosts have an infinite amount of time. If waiting will solve a problem, why not just wait? If you can't wait, you can just ask someone else. IMHO. Don't expect so much from me. Alexi. Oh. Alexi mumbles something under his breath as he locks the staff entrance behind him. Ah. Suddenly, Alexi lets out a voice as if he just realized something. What's wrong? Oh, it's nothing. Whenever I ask someone for a favor, it never turns out pretty. Just say it already. Whoa, be gone, evil spirit, be gone. Beep. Alexi tinkers with his watch, and suddenly, a thin blue membrane expands around him, knocking Pacifisa back. What's the big deal? Don't spook me like that. you're the one who spooked me. What's with this bubbly thing? It's my portable otaku guard. Pog? Serves you right. You won't find this much strength at this small size anywhere else. Yoru whispers, this is starting to get kind of exciting. I nod back. I can certainly see why Anya places so much confidence in Alexi's engineering skill. That's what I think to myself as Yoru secretly gets pumped up. She does have a taste for weird things after all. Shut it off this instant. No, you'll just get mad at me. How can you tell I'll get mad? Because I'm gross. Females always thought them gross, so I can tell you'll be mad even without you having anything to say. You can't just judge total strangers because they're women. That's exactly why they hate you. Pacifisa picks up a shovel off the ground and charges at the, what was it called again? It's the Pog, obviously. The portable otaku guard. I want one. Anyway, Pacifisa starts hammering away at the barrier with the shovel. Each time she hits it, it lets out an unpleasant, low-frequency sound wave, and eventually, the barrier's outline starts to fade away. Stop! This thing's power output is still unstable. Hey, Alexi. What? Even if you've made a shitload of bad first impressions with women, this is low, even for you. That's just how hopeless I am. You of all people should know that. Hey, no need for the attitude, you know. Are you stupid? Look, I'm an otaku, and whenever an otaku talks to a female, he just wants to die. That's how we're built. I don't know if you can even imagine this, but I feel so sick right now. I'm a woman too, you know. Anyway, you just had an idea of how to speed things up, didn't you? Out with it. You shouldn't keep it to yourself, even if you think you should. Damn it. So, I was thinking you could help me finish my research. My research has hit a deadlock. See? That's why I said it'd take time. But if you help me, it'll speed things up. I'm almost certain of it. But who would who would help someone like me? But who would want to help someone like me? I'm gonna take a sippy. Don't beat yourself up like that. Why wouldn't we help you? Anya's unusually talkative, and Mr. Alexi seems to be somewhat open with her. It's a refreshing contrast. Anya is usually the passive one, so she almost seems like a different person. Mr. Alexi turns off his pog and falls silent. He just needs to tell us his thoughts. So why does he need so much time to concentrate? Though I guess it's unfair of me to think like that, since I'm since I'm with friends and we outnumber him. If I were Why am I tripping over my words so much today? Oh my god. If I were in Mr. Alexi's shoes, I'm sure I'd hesitate to speak my thoughts too. He's probably cursing himself for letting out that earlier. Even I'm starting to feel uncomfortable. I hate this. Pacifisa? It's not until I say, that I realize I had even opened my mouth. The words just start flowing out by themselves. We can just let Mr. Alexi think things through and get his answer on a later date, can't we? I see, says Pacifisa as she folds her arms in consideration. I'm sorry, Anya, but can you ask him again tomorrow or some other day? Oh, I don't mind. If Anya's going, then I've got no objections. We chat a bit more for a while until we settle on Anya coming back the same time tomorrow to hear his answer. Phew. I'm not used to this sort of stuff. It particularly pains my heart to make Anya ask for me. Okay, that'll be it for today. Thank you for giving us some of your time after work. And with that, I turn around and take a step back towards town. Hey, wait. Oh, what is it? If you have more to say. Mr. Alexei firmly interrupts the fed-up Pacifisa. Not you, the ninja. Can I help you? Were you trying to patronize me? When I turn around, Mr. Alexei takes a step towards me. Sensing the unrest in the air, Anya clicks her tongue. Not at all. When people patronize me like that, it just makes me feel all the more ridiculed. I think so too, which is why I'm not trying to look out for you. I'm just cold and want to go home. You're just saying that as an excuse, so your friends will praise you later and you can feel good about yourself, aren't you? That disgusts me. Mr. Alexei's face is fully flushed. He's taking heavy breaths in and out, wheezing hard. Your next line is, I totally get how you feel, isn't it? Yeah, I do get how you feel. I also kind of get why you'd get aggressive about it too. It's exactly because I get it that I shouldn't say I get it. I get it. So if we flip things around, you're saying that you get how I feel then, right? Please stop. You think you know anything about me? Disgusting. Oof. Mr. Alexei lets out some sort of weird groan, but he's smiling. Savage AF. I don't know what savage AF means, but Alexei chuckles after he says it. You don't have many friends, do you? Maybe not. Anyone without many friends is a friend in my book. What? That's my personal theory. Fine, I'll show you the goods. Come with me to my lab. This time, Mr. Alexei turns his back to us and trots off. His shoulders shiver, and after a few steps, he stumbles. Yoru gives me a smile and a thumbs up. That guy's a pain. I agree with Pacifisa's grumble in the silence of my heart, as Anya helps Mr. Alexei get up, and we follow behind. Here's the opening. If you weren't expecting much from my lab, then hurry it up already. Eep. We're standing in front of Mr. Alexei's house. From the outside, it looks less like a lab and more like a bougie villa. Since it's located close to the amusement park, perhaps it was indeed originally meant to be an expensive vacation home. But, fine. Never mind. Mr. Alexei almost looks tearful as he holds his hand out to the needlessly huge keyhole. The moment I wonder if he left his door unlocked, I hear an electronic sound followed by the ga-thunk of a heavy lock turning. Whoa, was that a biometric lock? Nah, you can't trust something as easily fakeable as vein recognition. Simple is best, so I just implanted a chip into my hand. It's pretty convenient. I've never forgotten my hand at work, and you can't exactly steal a limb without lopping it off. You hear that? Alec is a genius, right? He's treading a fine line, though. I always love when there's a part that's animated, even if just for a few seconds. It always looks so nice. The door opens, and the lights turn on automatically, and a moment later, the air in the room gets pleasantly warm. I guess the heater turned on. We stand in front of the entrance as we look at the interior of the room, which is just as showy as the exterior. This way. Sorry about the mess. What mess? This place is so clean and stylish, you'd expect a gentle housewife and boisterous children to come out and greet the man of the house. It's such a stark contrast to the image of the homeowner. What a nice house, huh, Sayoko? If only our place had this much space. Do you live alone, Mr. Alexei? You two are pretty much the only ghosts who live together. Everyone else lives alone. Oh, I didn't know that. This is my workshop, and, damn it, I knew it. Why must you do this to me, God? The workshop is what appears to be a remodeled kitchen and dining room. Unlike the rest of the house's beautiful interior, it's the only disorderly area. Mr. Alexei quickly runs to what was most likely a dining table that's been remodeled into a large work desk. Just how much has gone back today? I'm left wondering what he's talking about as he starts screaming at the ceiling. It's 1 step forward and 3 steps back. Way too much has been disappearing lately. No, don't tell me. Not the bolts, too. It's a jumbled mess now. Mr. Alexei laments as he rummages through what appears to be a pile of parts left on the work desk. The module looks okay, but where's the cable? Is that gone too? How could this happen? FML. So what exactly are you making? Isn't it obvious? How is any of it obvious? Okay, what if I did this? Mr. Alexei strikes a few keys on a nearby computer keyboard. Whoa. A translucent woman's head starts floating midair. The spectacle had so much impact, I unconsciously pull out a gun and barely manage to stop myself from pulling the trigger. Isn't that like the woman from the movie that worked in like the government office? Calm your tits. It's just a hologram. A 3D projection. What is this? She's what I want to show you today. We all fall silent, as if to search through our memories. That head does seem familiar. A girl with a faint smile. She's not fully grown up, but if you stare at her for long enough, you'll get glimpses of a mature woman. Something about her seems to hide some inner darkness. Have I seen this ghost somewhere before? I can't say, since I don't have many female friends. She's attractive. At the very least, she's pleasant to look at. Oh, the movie! She was in the movie! That's correct. Those words permeates into my head the way the sweetness of rock candy permeates into your mouth when you're tired. It's like I've been waiting for it. But on the other hand, I've got a bad feeling about this. Was the girl in the movie his project? Isn't she wonderful? I mean, I guess. But she's only in the movies, right? Indeed, she's nothing more than an image caught on film. She has no substance. In other words, she's just an illusion. But what if I could make her real? Wait, so, Alec, you're trying to make this chick? No. That's not it at all, Anya. Good. I thought you had gone way off the deep end for a second. I'm just deploying her into this shitty world. Oh boy. What do you mean by deploy? It means like make, but with a fancier word. Not at all. I thought of all the shitty women in this town. At least you'd get me. To make her would be to simply create something in her image that would act like her. But what's the point in that? Yeah, what would be the point in that? What I want is to ascertain each and every one of her functions, either abstractly or concretely, and deploy her into this world. Not just in spirit, but in body too. That's what this project of mine entails. And then what? Live with her, obviously. You see it all the time in anime, don't you? Every day, she'll wake me up, eat meals with me, and welcome me home. And sometimes we might argue, but I'm sure she'll enrich my life overall. Everyone gasps at Mr. Alexei. No, let's just call him Alexei. He's lost my respect. I'm thinking she'll be like a maid living under my roof. I've got godly taste, don't I? I've even drawn clothing designs. I'd love to get some females' opinions on them. Long skirts are the best, aren't they? I'll bring up the designs. And with that, Alexei starts typing away at the keyboard, but Anya frantically stops him. Well, whatever. I'm sure you've all come to understand the loftiness of this project's goals, but I'm sure we've all come to understand it was a mistake to come here. Ow, ow, ow. Anya suddenly groans in pain. Pacifisa's pinching her butt. I look at Yoru, figuring she'd enjoy seeing something like that, but she's instead looking at Alexei with a sidelong glance. It seems she didn't hear Anya. Well, in any case, I totally understand how Pacifisa's feeling right now, so I won't stop her. So, I'm not sure if there's anything we can do to help you out with the project of yours. That's right, sorry, but I'm not good with technical things. You can take Anya off her hands, so go ahead and use her however you please for the rest of your life. Hey! You don't need any technical literacy. You don't even need any literal literacy. My request for you is simple. You need to follow my directions. With luck, we should be done in no time, and I can start tackling your request. I'll even do it free of charge if you help me out. That's just how valuable your cooperation is to me. Wait, why'd my controller disconnect? 1 second. There we go. This is starting to sound suspicious, but fine. So what exactly do we need to do? You ladies just need to look carefully and closely at both my work and her. Strategy meeting! We would like to request some thinking time. Approved. At Pacifisa's command, we all gather in a corner of the room. I'm sorry, guys, for, like, everything. That guy's messed up in the head. But what he's doing is incredible. Yeah, he's always like that. Nobody can keep up with him, in more ways than one. But his engineering skills are the toppest of top-notch. He can single-handedly do stuff that I couldn't do even if there were 9,999 of me. So you'd do something that gross even if there are 9,999 of you, huh? No, I don't think I'd ever do something or do anything that gross no matter how many of me there were. He's certainly eccentric, huh? JSYK, I can hear you. FML. Say, Alexei, what do you mean when you say you want us to watch you? It's not like you want us to make sure you don't fall asleep at work or anything, right? Well... Alexei's eyes sparkle, the sparkle of a prideful engineer, but it's probably for the same reason as when he went off earlier. We all can't help but put our guards up. Ghost capacity. That's just what I like to call it, but you know what I'm talking about, right? There's a limit to how many things we ghosts can have. Once things go back to the garbage dump, you have to pick them up again. Yeah, of course we know that. The hole in the ghost pocket. Isn't it called the bottomless ghost bag? Is it? While things may disappear, they should last for a while as long as they're placed within your territory and you keep their existence in the back of your mind. Both Pacifisa and Anya nod. I nod too, due to peer pressure before realizing, oh yeah, that's right. With the exception of the bare minimum, my belongings quickly disappear too. Alexei makes it sound like you're guaranteed a certain amount of possessions. but it feels a little different in my experience. I think the reason these things feel more natural to me lately is now that Yoru's moved in, we share our belongings. Also, now that I've figured out gunshot wounds and other injuries count as belongings, I've actually been finding it pretty convenient sometimes. I've never paid any special attention to it before either. Never, ever, not even once. However, Pacifisa lets out an agonized groan when Alexei screeches mid-speech. She's too detailed. The sheer volume of information necessary to imitate God's creation of man is far too much for our ghostly bodies, it seems. Alexei casually picks up a part off the scattered heap on the work desk. His eyes seem filled with a deep sadness. No matter how I assemble her parts, no matter how I code her personality presentation program, parts of her disappear if I take my eyes off her for even a second. It's probably random what parts disappear. The bolts in the entire skeletal structure disappeared this time, so she's incomplete, and I can't show her body to you ladies. FML. Alexei explains in an oddly dramatic tone, but I can feel his calm enthusiasm as he tries to convey the objective truth. We're not normal. We weren't humans that lived. We only call ourselves ghosts for convenience. We don't actually know what we are. If you ignore the fact that we've been excluded from the phenomenon known as death, then it certainly seems more natural to call us ghosts. After all, we can't survive in sunlight. Intuitively, it makes sense to think of us as ghosts, or at least ghostly. Her volume exceeds my capacity as a container, so I just need to prepare a new container. Perhaps she can be contained if there are more ghosts to perceive her. But when you mix in the fact that there's a limit to what we can possess, that intuitivity starts to falter. So once again, my request is that you ladies watch as I assemble her. It'd be perfect, or I'd prefer if you slept in shifts. That's all I need to do. You wouldn't ask storage to do computations, right? For how long? It probably won't be done in a single day. You'll need to take a few days off from your jobs, that's for sure. Even if we're ghosts, we're not some sort of, even if we're not ghosts, we're some sort of ghostly creatures. I'm sure the others aren't scared though. I mean, why be scared of ourselves? We're not here to prosper, we're not here to expand. We're just here to exist. Actually, one second, I'm gonna remove my hat because it takes up a lot of room. You'd be able to see more of the game. This won't have any negative effects on our bodies, will it? I'm a little scared. That's why I ask an odd question. I want to distract myself with some talking. There may be some negative effects, I will admit. If you're scared, just sleep through the whole thing. Alexei might not know this, but I've had that sort of experience before. I do feel that it's somewhat difficult to acknowledge new things, but there's no point in telling him right now. That's not what Sayoko's saying. She's not scared of working with you. She's scared of you. She's looking for a reason to decline. I'm just telling the truth as close as I see it. Even when you're telling the truth, the tone, attitude, and syntax you use to tell it make all the difference, you know? You must have failed your public speaking classes. Just hearing the phrase public speaking classes feels like a punch to the gut. I'll do it. I don't know if I can do it well, but there's no harm in trying. Oh, you will? I'm in too, but you've definitely gone off the deep end this time, Alec. But, as a lowly engineer, I'm intrigued. See now? My presentation was flawless. Wait, did I miss something? No, for some reason I thought I did. These girls are just softies. I wouldn't pat myself on the back for that presentation if I were you. Anyway, since Anya trusts you, I intend to trust you too. But I don't trust you enough to take time off work. Pacifisa's talking to Alexi, but it sounds like she's actually directing those words to us. Someone needs to watch for danger. Outside. The wild... Wait, what? Someone needs to watch for danger outside the wild, these girls. I think that the is another, like, error or typo. I should email that one to the publisher too. Someone needs to watch for danger outside while these girls are preoccupied. You also don't know if the church will try to pull something either. It seems like Pacifisa's acting nonchalant to melt away my looming anxiety of being separated from her. Or maybe she isn't, and the world doesn't revolve around me. That'd be embarrassing. Thank you. Don't worry about it. We're just dividing the roles. Well, Yoru, looks like it's just the three of us. I'm not in. Okay, for now, we'll have to put out notices that you'll be on break from... What? Is the game stuck? Oh, wait, what did you say? That's happened before, where it makes the characters, like, take a pause before going on to the next line. But that one was so long, I actually thought the game was, like, stuck for a second. I feel a shock, like being struck on the head. You'd think Yoru would be the first person to be excited by the sight of this stupid thing. At first, I think Yoru's messing with me, but when I look into her eyes, I see she's serious. I said I'm not in. What? Why not? Because I don't want to do this. I'm utterly confused by Yoru's calm rejection. She's usually overly expressive, so when I see her say that without a single change in her facial expression, it instantly throws my mental stability off balance. What's wrong, Yoru? Does your stomach hurt? My bowel movements are perfectly regular. I see. Good for you. Would you prefer us not to ask why? Well, yeah, I guess. When I notice Yoru frown, it makes me feel a bit of relief. And that's because it lets me know she's not making this decision lightly, and she does feel at least a little guilty. I know it's not healthy to be happy about Yoru feeling guilty, but I need to accept the fact that I'm the mean sort of person who would feel good about something like that. That's not the point. It's the point is that she understands what she's doing and she's showing human emotion. Bruh. I think it would be dangerous to set up shop by yourself. True. If you're not going to be around, then I'll take a break off work. If you're going to take a break, then why not just stay here with me? No, I don't want to. Sorry. Yoru makes that face every now and then. No, it's okay. It's your decision, Yoru. I'm not good with these sorts of situations. I really should press her some more. So, what'll it be? Sayoko and Anya will stand watch. Yoru and I will pass. According to my calculations, 2 should be plenty. It's a deal. And thus, Anya and I end up helping the strange man named Alexi with this challenge. Sayoko? Good luck. Thanks. There's a lump of anxiety lodged in my chest. I never pretended to know everything about her. But this still comes as a bit of an unpleasant surprise. Alexi truly is skilled at engineering, which is why I think he can help us further our goals once this is done. I'm also interested in Alexi's insights about ghosts, There's so much I'd like to ask him when we've got the time. At least, that's what I keep telling myself as I try to find a way to justify my decision to take on this job. But the fact that I have to look for justification is proof in and of itself that I'm unsure about this after all. I meet up with Anya in the same old plaza. The same old sights, minus our psychiatry stand. After all, we're closing up shop for a while. Or we're closing up shop while the duration of my time. Okay, that's a really weird sentence. After all, we're closing up shop while for the duration of my time at Alexi's. Yo, wait, Sayoko, where's your luggage? Anya asks as she carries a big bag. In my coat pockets, I've got a handkerchief and a gun. The bullets disappeared, so I'll have to make up for it by aiming real good. Oh, good luck with that. Wait, shouldn't you at least bring a change of clothes and a towel? I've been thinking. Huh? Is it really necessary to shower and change clothes? You're starting to sound like Yoru. You think so? Good thing Pacifisa's not around. She'd be all like, Bargle Gargle. Bargle Gargle. Yeah, Bargle Gargle. We talk as we walk. It feels weird, since I'd usually be working around this time. It's like going to a hospital instead of school when you're sick. It's especially weird since I only started working just recently. I guess I've adapted to worker life before I knew it. It was probably a gradual day-by-day process. I recall my conversation with Alexi. I can feel my face heat up as I do so. Why did I act so provocatively? Or proactively? Proactively, right? Proactively. I couldn't bear watching him. I wanted to do something to help. But was that just because I thought I was in a position to help? Help? Me of all people? With my social standing? I think those thoughts to myself as we approached the amusement park. We were here late last time, but it's operating hours right now, so there's a cheerful music playing with decorative lights shining in the night sky. It's kind of extravagant by this town's standards. Anya, have you ever been to the amusement park? I ask. I've never been there myself. At least, I don't think I have. Well, I've been there a number of times, but I didn't have much fun though. Why not? The amusement park itself is fine, but the problem is the customers. Do they have bad manners? Well, it just feels like they're at the amusement park more to look like they're enjoying themselves rather to actually enjoy themselves. That's how it feels? Sends shivers down my spine. Shivers? Shivers my timbers. I see. I think I get you. It must be annoying to be surrounded by people like that, huh? It just feels like people like them look down on people like me. I don't want to be in the same place as them, you know? Anya speaks bitterly. I never really thought about it, but I guess that sort of vague social hierarchy exists in this town too. Maybe as a foreigner, I'm just excluded from that pyramid entirely. Sorry if I asked something I shouldn't have. No, it's fine. Anyway, those people don't make sense when they talk. They're so damn boring. But I'm sure they find me so damn boring too. Anya gets her head back in the game and readjusts her bag that had started to slip off her shoulder. I'm not good with that whole female bonding thing. Like, going to bathrooms in groups and gossiping and stuff. Girls who can't get into that sort of stuff end up with no choice but to join groups of guys, don't they? I respond with a vague, It's been a long time, I think, since the last time we've talked about interhuman, or rather interghost, relations. It makes my heart start to clench. But I suppose we can only really talk about this sort of thing when it's just the two of us. Anya and I keep talking about somewhat complicated topics as we walk down the path. I'm so glad we can walk together like this. But when you join a group of guys, then you have to deal with romance and all that poop, so it'd be even poopier. I'm so glad I've got you girls. Anya says that with a smile. It's a somewhat awkward, forced smile, but it's kind of cute in its own way. It's an almost devilish smile. I could see why a group of guys wouldn't be able to leave her alone. I consider smiling back at her, but I'm so awestruck, I decide not to. We pass the amusement park area and approach Alexei's house. It definitely feels way too fancy a house for Alexei to live in, though I suppose the fact that he lives in it, all by his lonesome, does fit him. If Yoru were here, she might call this a sleepover. Oh, yeah, Yoru. The more I think about her absence, the more depressed I get. I guess I shouldn't think about it then. Sleepover, huh? I doubt it's gonna be something that fun. So do we just sit and watch? If I remember right, yeah, that guy doesn't lie, so I'm sure that's really all we need to do. Makes me feel kind of guilty, if that's really all we're going to do. I fidget as we stand at Alexei's front porch. At least we'll have lots of free time, you know? Anya rings the bell. Something starts rumbling inside the house. Then Alexei shrieks. I smile wryly. I'm sure he'll ask us to do something else sooner or later. I guess there's no point in worrying about it. So basically, at this point, it's our third day at Alexei's house, and I haven't been asked to do anything else even once. I've just been watching. I watch as Alexei and Anya work on the project. I watch over the assembled parts with Anya while Alexei's away at work. And when Alexei gets back, I watch the machines and sleep. I really have just been sitting and watching. I don't have to worry about anything, since I don't have to do anything. This would probably be hell for the type of people who need to be moving constantly. But luckily, I'm an expert at doing nothing, so it's not that agonizing for me. But for some reason, I feel like I've gained weight. Can ghosts even gain weight? I don't know. I kind of miss Yoru and Pacifisa. It's a little frustrating when your work and your pay don't seem to match. It's rough when you have to work hard and earn comparatively little, like Yoru did way back when, but conversely, I'm finding it rough to do basically zero work to earn a lot. I figure I could clean the room, not that I ever clean my own room, but a big barrel-shaped cleaning robot goes around the room automatically a few times a day. Apparently this robot is to thank for the house's almost eerie cleanliness. It's not like Alexei's secretly a neat freak who obsessively cleans his house. For some reason, that's a relief. This cleaning robot is pretty well built. Using some mysterious technology, it hovers a little bit off the ground as it sucks up dust with a whirring motor sound. For bigger messes, like when Anya spilled her sugary coffee on the kitchen floor, some even got on her clothes so she had to change out, the robot extends a mysterious arm to mop everything up. I think that was just before bedtime, the day before yesterday. As I watch the machine smoothly pick up trash, I murmur, I want one for our place. Anya comes out of the shower, drying her hair with a towel. It seems like she heard me, so she just starts talking about the origins of that machine. Alexei and I made this thing together. Due to an annoying customer request, it had to be made from the ground up, so Alexei asked for my help. Though it was mostly Alexei's work and I just helped. Contrary to her self-derisive words, Anya sounds pretty proud of herself as she talks about the cleaning robot's features. That incredibly powerful armored vehicle we tried to leave town in, apparently this cleaning robot uses the same power source. So unlike a battery-operated machine, there's no need to charge it. And it's more powerful too. So, could this thing explode? Maybe if I'd made it. But while Alexi's amazing at hardware, he's actually a software guy. The software meshes perfectly with the hardware specifications and has complete control over the generator's current state. Software refers to program and hardware refers to mechanics, right? Oh, yeah, I'm kinda gross, aren't I? I just blab on and on about technical jargon like an otaku. You're normal, Anya. No, even better than normal. Anya smiles gently at my words. It almost feels like it's not even Anya I'm looking at. If only. Thanks. Is it because of her flat, wet hair? Her dressing gown? Wait, what was I just saying? Recalling memories is a good way to kill time. You could try to see how many details you remember. Any ambiguous parts can be supplemented by extrapolating what you remember from adjacent memories. Oh, right, I'm pretty sure... Hell yeah! Yahoo! My memory recollection is suddenly drowned out by some strange voices. What happened? Oh, take a look. Look at it. Before I know it, the pile of parts on the desk has become what appears to be an anatomical model of a skeleton. This is probably her skeleton, I guess. The right arm is the only portion that has parts with some flesh on it, probably not actual flesh. The exposed metal bones of the fingers slowly clench into a fist and open again. It repeats the cycle a few times. It's moving. Huh. Oh, what a beautiful rock and paper. That sure is, something. It's not just that it's moving, it's that it hasn't ever been this complete before. The skeleton usually falls apart before I can assemble it, and the nerve connections get severed before I notice it. My hypothesis was correct. Thank you. Thank you so much. What about the internal software? That's going by favorably too. There's no missing data so far. I don't know what'll happen once I increase the volume of the data. But that shouldn't be too much of a problem now that we've established a solution to the problem that's been plaguing me this whole time. That was the most crucial thing... What? That was the most crucial thing aspect of the whole project. I don't know if it's supposed to say that, but I feel like the proofreaders should have read over this part especially, this episode. Because I've found like, what, 3 weird sentences so far? I'm happy I could be useful. You weren't just useful, you were a lifesaver. Ha 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 ha. Alexei starts rolling on the floor laughing. I almost tell him not to do that since the floor is dirty, but I stop myself. The floor in this place is freakishly clean after all. Mr. Alexei? What, you want to give it a try too? No, not that. I was just wondering about this thing. She's not a thing. Sorry, what are you trying to make her? Because I can. No. Wait, what was the last one? Oh, why are you trying to make her? I thought that was weird. Because I can. No, wait, let me put my thoughts in order. Oh, no. You don't have to think so seriously about it. I'm thinking. Don't talk to me. Oh, come on. Why do I have to feel this wretched? I look to Anya for help. Anya sticks her thumb up and makes a cutting gesture across her throat with it. I smile wryly. Thank goodness. It looks like I've got the right idea, and thus... So why are you trying to make her? Because I'm curious to know if God will allow me my desire. God? You're talking like a member of the church. He's a believer. Huh? He is? He's got some differing opinions compared to the priest, though, so I guess he's more of a heretic. You could say that. Every scientist is a sort of clergyman who wants to get closer to God's wisdom. That's what I think, at least. I thought it was common sense that people like Alexei would be realists who don't believe in God, so I'm a little confused. But now that I think about it, when we first asked for Alexei's help, he did easily agree, despite saying that it would take some time. He was probably thinking proactively of how it would benefit others. It's a little late now, but I can't say I didn't sense there would be an ulterior motive to his seemingly good intentions. Since God made us in his image, I'm curious if he'll allow us to make something in our image. Honestly, I had my doubts, but that's changed now. Or that's changed now that we're here? I thought I had reached a dead end, but I was wrong. This was a trial to see if I could climb the barrier. Alexei stands in front of his computer and presses a button. He stops clenching and opens her fist. What I'm trying to implement is a perfect artificial intelligence that copies the mechanisms of the brain. A self-conscious reproduction of us that won't control population or hijack missile interception systems, and is neither dumber nor smarter than us. If every part of the copy works properly, this being will have true consciousness. And while I don't even want to think about it, if she suddenly gets struck by a car, she'll be torn apart, and that consciousness of hers will be lost for all eternity. Does this remind you of anything? A hit and run. That's not what I meant. Then what do you mean? Death. A chill breeze blows underfoot. Wait, no, we're indoors, so it's probably just my imagination. As soon as I process that word, my spine shudders and I start finding it hard to stand. An eternal wakeless sleep. Ignoring the final destination of the soul, the body decays, and those left behind can do nothing but remember the departed. Now what does that sound like? You mean... Yes, just like a human being, our blueprint, our origin, the ones that lived, died, and became memories, those who YOLO'd. Can we, who have been removed from death, create death? Alexei's voice trembles. Just how much does this guy believe in God? And just how aware is he that what he's doing is highly blasphemous? If my creation has a self-awareness, does being aware of itself count as being perceived, and thus can it exist indefinitely without a third-person observer? Yeah, I was a little curious if we had to keep watching even after she was complete. True, a consciousness that only exists if it's constantly observed sounds like a hassle. I'd feel sorry for the owner of that consciousness. If she has a consciousness, she can possess her own objects. So if I can successfully mass-produce her, they can be used as a town storage system for resources, knowledge, culture, and everything else that you can give them, enabling major expansion of the town. Whoa. Assuming God will permit it, that is. We're here thinking about things because, of course, there is doubt that God will permit it. Are you aware of the theory that God has banished us into the night as punishment for our sins? For our sins? What sins? That's just what the church says, Sayoko. A lot of people have differing opinions. Some of them are kind of interesting, too. One time, a customer came in wanting a chainsaw repaired, and as the boss worked, the customer said that this town is a prison. A prison? Yeah, the prisoners here are all nefarious scoundrels who can't be placed in ordinary cells. So they're hypnotized into thinking that they're ghosts living in the snowy town who can't be awake in the day. The reason they never die is because their sense of time has been tampered with. No time has ever passed. You and I are actually old men who have committed heinous crimes, apparently. That's kind of a scary thought. I try to imagine myself as a giant man in a prison uniform who thinks he's me. There's a prisoner who thinks he's Anya, and a prisoner who thinks he's Alexei, and what he's actually making is just a mud ball. Wow, way to rip off the church's sin theory. LOL. He said there were several prison guards hiding among... oh my god, among us? He said there were several prison guards hiding among us for surveillance, and he was going to murder them. With the chainsaw, I guess. What? That's some customer you got. Well, we did call the police on them, so there's that. Police? What's that? Ninja-ese? Anya laughs as if Alexei had said something funny. Alexei's shoulders shake up and down too. I guess everyone in town agrees that the police don't really do much. Anya says, well, I guess they work in just about as much as I do. Then continues. According to an acquaintance of mine, this is a theme park. A theme park? Like an amusement park? Yeah, according to acquaintance, there was a war, and the country that lost their population almost entirely wiped out by a missile, leaving no trace of their culture or language. Oh, so it's another scary theory, huh? A missile, huh? I see. The country that won came to regret their actions later, and created something of a memorial park at the missile impact site, and created animatronics, robots that imitate personalities and language of the dead, leaving the devices to their own devices as a reminder for generations to come of the people they had wiped out with their own hands. And were those robots? That's right. We're set not to recognize when a visitor arrives, and we're forced to sleep for after-hours maintenance. What we think of as morning isn't actually morning. And so the weird list of names written on the missile is meant as a memorial of the victims who died. The prisoners in my imagination turn into robots. I imagine Alexei with exposed, somewhat rusty metallic joints. As we talk, there are kids on a social studies field trip watching us, anti-war pamphlets in hand. There must be some sort of real-time automatic translator translating our words, and the kids just go, huh, as they listen, not quite understanding what we're talking about. We keep talking under the mistaken impression of having been granted our own consciousness. That's the kind of thought that keeps you up at night. Like, maybe people can hear my thoughts. That kind of thought. A paranoid fear that you can't prove either right or wrong. Whoever thought of that must be amazing. Actually, I'm the one who thought of it. Amazing. You might think I sound like that Chainsaw Man I mentioned. Oh my god, Chainsaw Man reference? No fucking way. But it's actually a pretty solid theory, don't you think? I even tried to address why we have to sleep in the morning, and why certain things go back to their original state. I'd say you're more talented than you give yourself credit for, Anya. Anya slaps me on the shoulders. I was just bored before, that's all. Thinking about things to talk about is a pretty fun pastime, you know. I mean, why not? I'm free to come up with my own theories, aren't I? Yeah, I guess so. So, lots of people like a good conspiracy theory, and I'm sure a lot of them find Yoru awfully suspicious, too. Oh, I really gotta have a drink. My throat is so dry, it's actually starting to get a bit itchy. Okay, my mug is empty, so next time I need to get a drink, I'm gonna need to get up and get water. The church locked Doc away before, didn't they? I hypothesized that they were afraid of mass hysteria instigated by such conspiracy theorists. Is Yoru that important? True, Yoru was being held captive under what seemed to be the pretext of protective custody. In fact, she was provided with a warm room and a huge ham. She was treated so well, she didn't even seem aware of the fact that she was being held captive. And then there's the priest's tone of voice. He was afraid of Yoru, but it seems like there was more to it than that. That's right, I talked to the priest, didn't I? I must have been real nervous, since the more time passes, the more details seem to sink into the back of my mind. I can only just barely make out a rough outline. Was I alone at that moment? I don't know. I feel like someone else was there. Where did she come from? And why did she come here? There are certain things about her that definitely separate her from us, aren't there? Are you talking about Yoru? Yeah, doesn't it bother you? Not really. Yoru's never brought up her origins, and I've never asked about them. Why not? I wonder. Oh, I think I get it. Well, I guess I never really wanted to ask Yoru since she's the same as me. The same? Yoru and I are both foreigners who came from the outside. I vaguely recognize that this town isn't where we were originally meant to be, but I never really thought about it beyond that. If somebody asked me where I'm really from, that'd probably throw me for a loop. So I don't want to make Yoru feel the same way by asking her that question. Yeah, I don't remember my past, and it sucks to be asked about something you don't remember, you know? Okay, so what's different between me and Yoru? I'm an outsider in this town, but it doesn't look like I just suddenly appeared here like Yoru did. The church didn't lock me up either. For as long as I can remember, I've been waking up and sleeping in that room. I don't remember having to look for housing like Yoru did. Oh, I missed that one. We're the same, but different. I see. That definitely sounds like you, Sayoko. You think so? If it were me, I'd be so curious. I'd start hurling a barrage of questions at her. And then you'd use that as material for your next epic tale, huh? Hey, cut that out. You know, I've never really thought about it. But maybe it's okay for roommates to know at least that much about each other. I don't really know that much about Yoru. I'm sure the world is full of things that people won't talk about unless asked properly about them. Maybe Yoru is just waiting for me to ask her questions. Maybe not asking her anything makes me untrustworthy in her eyes. And to be even more useless roommate, here I am, spending night after night at some strange man's home. No, it's not like that at all. I'm sure Yoru is interested in talking. As soon as I decide to ask her, as soon as I get back, I start to look forward to seeing her again, and thus I grow impatient, and the wait becomes excruciating. That's so cute. Honestly, in every single episode, there's a part like that where it shows a little animation, then loads with a tip screen. And I feel like if I had stopped there every time I played this, then I could have, like played this game 10 times instead of 5, and I would have not had to read for like 3 hours every time. But now that I'm at the final episode, it's too late to do that. But maybe when season 2 comes out, I'll do it that way. As I worry about Yoru, development proceeds smoothly. The flesh and the soul develop concurrently, and they constantly act on each other. With that declaration, Alexei spends half his time tinkering with the parts, and the other half typing at his keyboard. The motion test advances from the right hand to the left hand, and then from the upper body to the lower body, down to the toes. It almost looks like it happens in fast forward. It really makes me feel awestruck at how far science has progressed, like Renja's spider, except without the imminent danger. A single man is single-handedly carrying out a project to recreate a human in the comfort of his home. Has culture really progressed that far? Can a human be recreated as easily as a somewhat intricate hobbyist diorama? Actually, on second thought, Alexei's just an outlier, but if he's this skilled at engineering, why does he work as a movie theater projectionist? Maybe it's just because all the ghosts seem to be somewhat reserved when it comes to work. Alexei decided that today will be her first outing, but out, in this case, means out in front of the house. Now that the full body test unit is complete, he wants to install a temporary personality file and check for any movement issues. I push her on a cart. Her black skeletal frame is exposed, her head crudely replaced with a speaker. She looks like a mock human, less like a mock human and more like an uncanny art piece. Alexei moved the test up ahead of schedule to today since the snow just so happened to stop, thereby minimizing the risk of damage to the parts. Okay, let her down over there. I let her down from the cart as instructed after Anya and the clearing robot sweep away snow at the designated location. As previously instructed, I insert the cable into the port on the back of her neck and hand the other end over to Alexei. I advise you to step back a bit. There's no guarantee that there won't be any malfunctions. She's got some ridiculous horsepower, and you never know if an arm will come flying off. Alexei plugs the cable into a laptop and starts typing away on the keyboard. Okay, good girl. Easy does it. Here we go. Beep boop. A sound reminiscent of a very primitive computer rings out, presumably from her temporary speaker head. A few seconds later. Welcome to Bzz Park. Strangely enough, it's a friendly old man's voice that rings out. The what park? I didn't catch the name since it was covered with noise. Please enjoy your day. If you need any help, just call me, Mr. Bzz. We've got fun games to play. The Bzz Corporation has a limited time sale on Bzz. What is this? It's probably a robot routine for an amusement park or a shopping mall. I bought it from the salvagers. It should be perfect for a motion test. Huh. The salvagers, huh? I miss them. I wonder how they're doing. They weren't bad guys. Mr. What's-His-Face, What's-His-Speaker, slowly takes a step forward, then another in an awkward walk cycle. With each step, the attached cable gets tighter and tighter until it snaps off, but it doesn't stop walking. Oh, so that wasn't a power cable? I think it's more like a charging/data cable. It should be basically wireless outside of charging. I mean, there's not really a point in a robot that can't move without a cable, is there? You've got a point. The more the robot walks, the more stable its walk cycle becomes. The robot then waves its hand at each of us and starts jumping up and down. Her body comes equipped with all standard functionality, so it should be able to run software made for other machines using the same standards out of the box. What do you think? Amazing, right? Just say amazing. Amazing. Ha 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 ha. I'm starting to get used to talking with these two. Whenever Alexei says something incomprehensible, Anya gives me notes to help me respond properly. None of us are the type who hate silence, so there's no need to awkwardly look for something to talk about. This isn't bad. Sayoko, Anya. I turn around so quickly it's embarrassing. There's Yoru, running this way from that telephone pole over there. She came here to see us. She must have been lonely too. Either that or she's run into some sort of problem. I'm gonna get some water, 1 second. That wasn't long. Anyway. Wait, did I read that one? I'll read it again, just to make sure. Or maybe she's found a new partner and came to hand me the divorce papers. Anything but that. Okay, I got myself some water, but I forgot to drink it. Long time no see, you two. A familiar girl is running alongside her. I didn't notice her because she was in Yoru's shadow. Clara. Why is that thing with you? My whole body freezes over and my legs go numb. I realize my right hand's in my pocket, unconsciously gripping my gun. I catch Yoru in my arms when she runs in for a hug. Yoru. How have you been, Sayoko? He hasn't been bullying you, has he? I'm fine. What's with the girl behind you? I ran to her along the way. She wanted to see you, Sayoko. Hey, thank you for stopping by. Nice to see you. Along the way? Yeah, I just ran to her along the way. No other reason, honest. I'll even treat you a dinner if you can prove otherwise. It's not like I was accusing you of anything. Look, I didn't go out of my way to see her, okay? Hello, Godly Zorak. Or Zoroark. Godly Zoroark, thank you for dropping by. It's nice to see you. As you can see, I'm just finishing up this visual novel right now. Have you two already gone that far? Sayoko and I are both going steady. What are you talking about? Don't make things confusing. My body still feels cold, but I'll probably be okay. It doesn't seem like things have changed in my absence. Whoa, how cute! Did you make this yourself? Yeah, this girl hasn't changed either. Yeah, this is indeed my creation. Wow, amazing. You must be a genius inventor. I wouldn't go so far as to call myself a genius. Why do guys go gaga over girls like that? Beats me. Clara's just as Clara-y as ever today, demonstrating boundless energy that's so unbelievable, it's kind of gross. She keeps letting out cute noises at random. Can I play with this robot? As long as you're gentle. Nice to meet you. I'm Clara, an apprentice nun from the church. My hobby is talking with people and helping out in any way I can. Clara bows. That reminds me, she did bow to me, too. I've known her for longer than I thought, unfortunately. Hello, young lady. Would you like to play a game with Bzz? Let's play the Bzz game. Whoa, a game? Let's play. Alright, since you're a robot. Clara rummages through her bag and takes out some sort of can. Here you go, a drink for robots. What is that? That's a can of fuel. Pretty expensive one at that. It's used for generators and motorcycles. Is it really a drink for robots? Of course not. I can't drink without a mouth. Wait, she shouldn't even walk around with that thing in her bag. That's dangerous. Yoru hums to herself. Clara's waiting for the robot to take the can of fuel and drink it like it's a can of soda or something. Go ahead, feel free to drink it to commemorate our getting to know each other. Beep. A robotic buzzer instantly causes the relaxed mood to tense up. Hostile behavior detected from grave life form in possession of hazardous material. The possession of hazardous materials in this facility is a direct violation of the Anti-Terrorism Act. All defensive measures are now permitted. Hey, Alec, the hell's all this about? I don't know. I didn't write this personality routine, but I think I've got an idea. Please quickly state your 9-digit national identification number and repeat it. Maybe it's a shinobi? I've only ever heard rumors about them. Doesn't ring a bell. Sorry, can you explain? There's an urban legend that hidden among the general-purpose companion robots at malls and conventions, there are a certain number of shinobi robots programmed to seek out spies and kill them, like a sort of secret police. Killer robots? That's not good. You gotta stop it. I repeat, please state your national identification number. It's too late. Damn it, security robots aren't consumer goods. They're military grade. You don't want a terrorist attacking something like that, so they're completely shut off from external commands. I'm only able to get the gist of what Alexi's saying, but I guess the machine has identified Clara as a terrorist and is about to attack her. Why didn't you notice before you activated it? How was I supposed to know it was an imposter routine? Damn it! Looks like it shutting down won't be as easy as turning off a computer. You idiot, don't shoot. You got any better ideas? This is your final warning. Please state your national identification number. I'm sorry, how do I apologize? Activating defense routines. Have a safe day. Eek. As soon as the robot finishes talking, she uses her metallic left hand to knock the can out of Clara's hand. Actually, let me rephrase that. She wrecks Clara's hand so hard, she can't even hold the can anymore. Her wrist is bent at an unnatural angle. The robot then reaches for Clara's neck with her right hand. Gah. Ugh. Clara suddenly goes quiet, probably because her neck's been crushed. The robot then dangles her in the air. Error, weapon not found. She, or rather the shinobi, speaks as its left hand clatters. It was probably intending to finish Clara off with a standard issue weapon usually installed on the left arm. Oh, come on. I kick its clattering left arm. Ow. But man, is that thing hard? I guess I should have expected it, since it's basically an iron pole. I shake my head and try to regain my focus. Weapon not found. Terrorist backup detected. Weapon not found. Looks like my efforts weren't wasted at least. The shinobi lets go of Clara. Thank goodness Alexei didn't install any weapons. In fact, it doesn't look like the shinobi even realizes it's not in the body it's supposed to be in. While its repeated error statements are annoying, they're also kind of sad. No terrorists, but come at me. The shinobi responds by letting out a static roar from its head speaker before tearing up some fallen scrap metal and brandishing it like a sword. Whoa. The speaker-headed killing machine raises its rudimentary sword as it lunges at me. It's hard to believe it's made of metal based on how light its movements are. But it's not light. But what's not light is the way it swings that thing down. I wouldn't want to get hit by that. Sayoko. Anna tosses me a road sign that's been cut off at its base. It fights like these. The longer reach, or in fights like these, the longer reach, the better. I swing wide and parry the shinobi's swing. Come at me. I carefully ward off each and every swing. It may be fast, but it's nothing I can't keep up with. But more importantly, in hand-to-hand combat with a human, or rather a ghost opponent, the advantage goes to whoever has the most endurance and stamina, but I'm up against the robot. I may be fine now, but how long can I keep this up? I know the negative thinking will just distract me and expose me to further risk, but I can't unthink these thoughts. It's no use. I need to go on the offensive. Instead of holding the shorter end of the road sign to prioritize small, quick swings, I shift my grip and hold the sign out as long as I can take advantage of the centrifugal force. As a result, I don't have time to adjust how different it feels swinging it before the next attack comes. Instead of simply warding off the attack, this time I swing back as hard as I can, focusing as much strength as I can into my arms and my grip to withstand the impact of the collision. The iron plate of the road sign starts to warp. Perhaps thanks to the centrifugal force, the effect of the impact is more than just even. The enemy retreats with a few nimble backflips, as if it had forgotten that it's made of metal. So I take another swing. It can defend against the attack, sure, but the ground underfoot's too unstable to completely cushion the impact. So with plenty of leeway, I take another large swing. Now that it's lost its posture, it can neither dodge nor block properly. It may be a machine, but the sheer weight of the road sign attack is too much for it, and I knock away its metal shard sword. Now that it's defenseless, one last attack should be enough to... Stop! Alexei shouts. I reflexively freeze in place. The shinobi doesn't miss its opportunity to quickly make some distance. Please, don't destroy her. It's not a her anymore, you idiot. It's a killing machine. And it could kill you too. I can't just let you destroy the one person who loves me. That thing doesn't love you. At least not yet. It's not even complete. At the very least, that's the body that will be hers. If this project succeeds, how do you expect me to look at her without thinking about how I destroyed her body once in order to protect myself? I couldn't live with myself. Having lost its weapon, the shinobi comes at me with its bare fists now. Its already fast movements feel even faster. Can't you compromise at least a little? No, I want her to be perfect. I've finally found someone to love, and I need my love to be more perfect than anyone else's. It looks like the enemy hasn't gotten faster. I've just gotten tired. I know that the reason nobody loves me is because there's nobody I love. I value myself, but unlike other people, I can't value someone else. I've never wanted to. Alexei speaks in a disgraceful, nasally voice. His enunciation is so bad, it's hard to catch the words he's saying, but I think I can get what he's trying to say. Everyone instinctively sees that, which is why they won't love me. I'm sure there are tons of people out there who can pretend to love others. But I don't get it. How? How can they do something like that, and why? I swing the road sign in a wide, horizontal sweep, but the shinobi dodges by bending backwards. Okay, fine. I toss away my weapon too. I lose some reach and power, but I gain maneuverability. I don't want to do that. I don't want to have to lie. I want to love. I want to be loved. Damn it, you just don't understand. I barely manage to keep toe-to-toe with the shinobi. I may be tough, but there's no telling what a metal fist to the vitals will do to me. That's why I made her. I tried taking out my gun and shouting, "Freeze!" An idea so crazy, it just might... Yeah, that did nothing. Or rather, it did worse than nothing, as the shinobi kicks my gun out of my hands. So now, I've lost my trump card. I'm pretty sure this is all Alexi's fault. I don't want to hear you complaining. Just how much longer must we bend to your will? We don't hate you as much as you think we do. So why can't you just let it go? Enough complaining. It seems to me like the only reason you can love her is because she's like a part of you. And you know that. Maybe you're right, but maybe not. I'll never know until I try. I guess he's got a point. I get it. My wish is full of contradictions. I know that. But please, you're my only hope. Actually, I don't really get it. But I do get the feeling of indignation and the refusal to back down. Please, stop her, without hurting her. You're so selfish, you stinky poop head. Fine, whatever. And guess I'll run as much as I can. I turn my back to the shinobi and retreat. I'm sure that thing will chase after me. I'll think things out as I run. Maybe the battery will even run out in the meantime. It's good to analyze your issues. You're showing signs of improvement. How wonderful. I get distracted by Yoru's voice. My feet stop for a moment. Retreat failed. I use both hands to guard against a heavy kick. But you might be hoping for a bit too much. What's Yoru talking about? Is she trying to do some counseling? Here? If her strategy is to convince Alexi to let me destroy this thing, then I approve. If so, I suppose I can bear it a bit longer. Yoru gives me a wink. I don't understand what that's supposed to mean. Mr. Alec, are you well versed in the shinobi program's inner workings? No, of course not. I mean, just think about what kind of program it is. Look at the log. This line here. It's been sending the same requests at fixed intervals, but it always fails. And it's been returning this error message. You really think you can lecture me, you amateur? Of course I can see that. And do you know what it means? No. How could I? There's no way I can tell what the function does just by looking at the... It's trying to communicate with the headquarters. If there's a terrorist attack in one place, there's a possibility that there's multiple other attacks happening simultaneously, right? That's why it's been trying to contact city headquarters incessantly every second. As if it's waiting for the command to abandon its post at the tiny, insignificant mall and go defend an important person or place. I see. How did you know? No, more importantly, are you suggesting we attack from that angle? That's right. Now that it's changed modes, I don't think it will accept normal commands, but this is an exception. The code changes at fixed intervals, but since it's offline, we can go at it as much as we want. By sending the shut-off command with a little signal spoofing, the shinobi will mistake it as a command from the mission control, huh? Okay, but how do we spoof the signal? That's where you come in. You can do it, can't you? I sure can. I'm a genius. Kinda. Sayoko, hang in there just a little longer. Hey, give me that back. Alexi pulls something off his hand and tosses it my way. I see. This is the thing Alexi used the first time we met. Oh, okay. The otaku guard, was it? If you ask me, it needs a better name. We should get Pacifisa or someone to think of something. I see Pacifisa's face in the back of my mind. I want to have coffee with her again sometime. A moment before the shinobi's punch lands, the guard's thin outline envelops me. Not a scratch. The shinobi stumbles back a step as if to ascertain what exactly blocked its attack. I find myself impressed by by its cautiousness. Though maybe I'm just amused by my codename, Ninja, is synonymous with its codename, Shinobi. Damn it. Is this it? No. Is this it? No, no, no. Yes! Yes, yes! That's gotta be it! Damn you! I silently tell Alexei, way to go, as he shouts at his computer. But if I remember correctly, this thing's power output is still unstable, isn't it? I probably shouldn't use it too long, or it might explode or something. I dare to shut off the guard, hold out both my open palms, and beckon the shinobi to come at me. I got it. Just a little more. There's no way the shinobi will miss the fact that I'm way open. It leaps at me, as if in recognition of its chance at victory. Guard on! I activate the guard at the very last moment before the metal fingers reach me. The guard deflects the enemy. The unexpected rebound causes the shinobi to lose its footing, with one leg up in the air. I quickly shut off the guard and try to trip up the shinobi's remaining pivot leg with a sweeping kick. Ow! Please work! While the shinobi may have lost its footing, its legs are still bare metal poles, and I just kicked one of them with my shin. I may be a ninja, but my leg's still made of flesh and bone. I wasn't expecting it to be easy, but still. I writhe in pain, forgetting to reactivate the guard, my lifeline. My hatred for the entire world is the only thing keeping my consciousness together. I hate everything. Yes, even Yoru, who suddenly sounded like a computer expert, despite never even once hinting that she'd know a thing about them. Wait, what's up with that anyway? No, more importantly, what about the shinobi? I find the shinobi fallen over, still motionless. In the corner of my eye, I see Alexei, glistening in cold sweat as he gives me a thumbs up. I did it! I did it! I really am a genius. How's that, you dumbasses? Pwah, 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 pwah. Trying my best to ignore that noise violation, I instead turn to Yoru for an explanation. Yoru, what happened back there? Oh, right. What happened to Clara? I wonder if she's okay. She's clearly dodging the question, but now that she mentions Clara, we all remember that she is what set off this whole scuffle into motion. Anya goes off to check on her. The rest of us follow behind. If Clara's still alive, I wonder if we can charge the church a rescue fee. It wouldn't change the fact that we've gotten her killed several times over. Is it possible to live with your neck like this? As she asks that question, Anya shows us Clara, or perhaps I should say, her corpse. No rescue fee for us, I guess. I let out a dry chuckle. Is that a corpse? Blah. Upon seeing Clara's corpse, Alexei turns pale, takes several steps backwards, and starts vomiting. But apart from her oddly bent neck, she looks perfectly fine. At least nothing spilling out of her or anything. They forgot that the robot broke her hand, too. Huh? Are you not used to seeing corpses? This guy's a shut-in, I see. It's you guys who are the freaks. Blah, blah, blah. Honestly, there's not much difference between a corpse and what this guy's trying to make. But I'm sure they're totally different things in his mind, and I guess that's good enough for now. Don't worry, I'll take this thing someplace else. No, there's something I want to ask you, Yoru. That's right, I can't let this opportunity pass. I need to ask Yoru herself. Please get rid of it. Look, Alexi's getting impatient too. Then, I'll come with you. Okay, then let's go. The two of us head away from the amusement park and all go the way to the outer limit of town. Where's a good place to get rid of this thing anyway? Wherever you think is a good place. Then let's go out just a little further, if that's okay with you, Yoru. Yeah, it's fine. I want to give those two some time together, too. Good idea. It sure is. We walk a bit more after that conversation. If you look back, you can see a full, sprawling view of the town. It reminds me of the view I once shared with Yoru back at the top floor of the church, though the angle is completely different. Each light in town tells of the ghosts who live there. There are a lot of worthless, good-for-nothing ghosts, but there are also ghosts that I like, even if they sometimes cause explosions with weird science experiments. A freezing wind blows. Whew, that's cold. It sure is. I guess we should get back quickly. Why don't we light a bonfire, Sayoko? It's way too cold. Oh, I've got matches. Also, I've got a lot to talk about. Yora's eyes look straight through mine. Her eyes go from anxious panic to confident determination. I nod. It's exactly what you think, Yoru. I don't feel bad at all. I just feel a little ticklish that she's seen through me. I do want to talk, but we don't have anything to burn. There's not even trash around here. I casually glance at Clara's corpse. Then I look back to Yoru. She shrugs. I shrug back and let go of the corpse. When the corpse plops onto the ground, a large can rolls out of Clara's coat pocket. All right, the can of fuel. She was trying to give us this thing, or she was trying to give this thing to the robot, wasn't she? Oh, how convenient. Yoru murmurs. I'm so glad you came, Yoru. Sayoko. Yoru whispers. Yoru looks like she's... Wait. Yeah, what did she whisper? The last line? Sayoko. Yeah. Oh. I don't know what I was thinking there for a second. Yoru looks like she's caught on to the fact that I'm going to ask what I haven't asked all this time. She knows she'll have to answer. I'm the one who brought Yoru out here, so I'm the one who has to start off the discussion. We work together, and on our time off, we hang out with people we know. When we get home, we chat before we go to sleep. It's a little questionable that we share the same bed, but there's only one bed and two of us. I speak from the heart. If I want Yoru to expose everything about herself, I should expose myself to her too. At least that's how I feel. Exposing ourselves to each other. Yes, that's the showing skin thing that Yoru had brought up. I use that logic to encourage myself. Because otherwise I'd be too scared to push forward, I'm sure. I've always hated this town. I've always wanted to go home. I tell myself that, even if I can't string my thoughts in a coherent order. If I just say everything I need to say, she'll understand how I feel. Also, I've always felt bad not knowing why ghosts even exist. So with Pacifisa and Anya's help, I've tried to leave the town, though for some reason, I don't really remember what happened back then. It's an especially vague memory of mine. Pacifisa and Anya were my friends back then too. We were trying to get to the cold world, we were trying to get to the outside world, just like we are now. I'm pretty sure it was my desire to go home that motivated us back then. Yes, back then. To be honest, now that I have you, I feel like I won't need to go back to where I was before. As long as I've got you, and Pacifisa, and Anya, I don't mind being near. Back then, I really wanted to go home. But now, I feel like I've got a place to belong here. But I haven't done anything. I shake my head. I'd die for you. How can I say that with a straight face? I don't want to die, Sayoko. I can feel the blood rushing to my cheek a moment late. I won't die. I'm a ghost after all. That's a standard ghost joke. I try to plaster on a smile to hide my embarrassment, but I only end up with a half-twitching face. I give up and take a deep breath. The cold air stings my nose. I can feel tears welling up in my eyes. I killed those two. I shot them with my gun, probably on purpose. I pull out my gun and point at Yoru, trying to remember how it felt back then. From the snippets of my memory that I do recall, I feel like I can remember the fear of shooting the gun and the surprise at the recoil. Did that really happen? Yoru keeps listening to me without faltering in the slightest. The three of us once tried to get out of the city. We used the same car as before. Things were going smoothly at first, I think, but then something happened. Something that's since gone hazy. Despite all that happened back then, Pacifisa and Anya said they'd help me try again. And that's not all. They fuss over me so much, even though they even brought you into my life, Yoru. It's not that I want to go home. I just want to go further than we did last time, with everyone. They did all that for me, and I killed them. There must be some reason why I thought that was the right thing to do. I feel like I need to find out that reason. But Sayoko, you might just end up repeating what happened that time. I feel that the same thing won't happen if I've got you, Yoru. So I'd like to ask you again, will you please come with me? I can't do anything. I just need your presence, Yoru. I've already shot you once before, haven't I? I feel like everything will be okay if you're with me. I know there's no reason to believe it, but that's just how strongly I feel about you. What sort of feelings do you have for me? Special. Yes, I feel that you're special to me, Yoru. Yes, that's right. I see. So I'm special, huh? I'm happy to hear it. Thank you. I wasn't happy at all to be called special before, but when you say it, it makes my heart feel so warm, Sayoko. Wah. Yoru snuggles up against me as she says that. She seems so childish, despite being a bit bigger than me. She certainly feels warm like a child, too. Sayoko, you said you didn't understand why you ghosts even exist, right? Yoru speaks while still clinging to me. All I can see is her head, so her voice draws in even more of my attention. Probably. I know even less about who or what I am, or why I am, so we're similar in that regard. You wouldn't happen to know who I am either, would you, Sayoko? Sorry, I don't. True. This town's just full of things we don't know. What a mess, huh? Yours make it sound like she's not one of us. Is she not a ghost? So as a result, I was a little confused at first. Like, why do I have to be here? I was wondering if there was some way to quit this whole time. And that's when someone from the church approached me. Quit what, exactly? I think back to the story from the insane customer Anya talked about. This town is a prison. There are several jailers among us to observe. No, that can't be it. That's ridiculous. I really can't do anything. I'm not strong like you. I'm not cool like Pacifisa, and I'm not handy like Anya. But you were amazing earlier today, weren't you? That was just because I knew what was going on. I was confident because I had prior knowledge. At first, I wasn't motivated to step in at all. That project was in such bad taste. I figured it'd be for the best if you tore that thing to pieces, Sayoko. But it'd be a little out of character for you to say that, huh? Yoru smiles and continues. I noticed that Alec really treasures that girl. I tried putting myself in his shoes and got really scared, and before I knew it, I set myself into motion without thinking. I don't think anyone could have done what you did without thinking, honestly. There's nothing amazing about applying knowledge you just so happen to have. No, it is amazing. I'm really curious to know exactly who you are, Yoru. I certainly do know things you don't, Sayoko, but I can't do anything. There's nothing I can do to help you out. Even if I told you everything I know, it wouldn't make you happy, Sayoko. We don't know that until you tell me. To tell you the truth, I'm a teensy bit different than you and the other ghosts, Sayoko. I can tell you a little about this town, but there's no point. It wouldn't amount to anything. I listen intently to what Yoru is saying, every single word of it. I try to swallow those words and process them, but I can't digest any of it. There are many things that I don't know either, like how the church noticed me. At first I thought I'd eventually understand what I am, but in the end, I still don't know. I need a sippy. 1 second. But there are some good things, though. Oh, she's so cute. Yoru stops clinging to me and looks me straight on. Screenshot. You appeared out of the blue and rescued me. You sat next to me, and you even gave me a name as a present. How could I not be happy? I felt like I had no choice but to stick with you forever. As Yoru reminisces, her eyes sparkle with a passionate light. It's almost as if the bonfire isn't the only light burning here. She's so dazzling, I can't help but look down at the floor to avert my gaze. It wasn't that big of a deal. I'll go with you, Sayoko, wherever you go, but what? Yoru turns her back to me. I look up to find her looking at the city nightscape. For a second, I almost start to think that there's nobody left within those lights. The city nightscape means completely different things to me and Yoru. It's a little sad to think about. She and I are different. The two of us are actually quite distant from each other, but only just so happen to be physically close right now. Just thinking about it like that makes me want to cry. You see, Sayoko, the truth is, there are things in this world that are more meaningless than you'd think. Some things are just nonsense that seem true, and you might be getting your hopes up for nothing. I wish I could be Yoru, because then I could understand the reason for her tears. Is that still okay with you? Will you still stay with me? That question is surely an important one for both me and for Yoru. I wish I could put a stop to her tears on command. Of course I do. I walk around Yoru's back so I can see her face to face. I gaze right into her eyes. Of course. I get it. You don't have to say it twice. I hesitate to talk back. I don't think there's anything I can really tell you, Sayoko. It's okay. I'm satisfied. I'm more satisfied than I could ever be. Even though I haven't gained any information whatsoever. You're so nice. That's not true. Anyway, let me just ask this one thing. I remember what Anya said earlier. I'm free to come up with my own theories, aren't I? Yoru. I call her by her name. Her name's Yoru because I met her at night. It really is a dumb, lazy, weird name that I just came up with on the spot. Before I knew it, it's a name I'd grown to love. Yoru, are you a human? Yoru's eyes open wide, after a moment of silence. Yoru laughs. A human? Well, there have been times when I've thought it'd be nice to be a human. Am I a human? I never thought I'd be asked that. It's not that funny of a question, is it? I squat down next to the bonfire, embarrassed. Sorry, but even if I'm not a human, that doesn't ever change the fact that I want to be your trusty roommate forever, Sayoko. You're not trusty at all, though. There must be something behind the scenes of this town that's sure to make me sad. Let's go back, Sayoko. But now's not the time for me to know what that is. I take Yoru by the hand. Okay. I'm a ghost, and she's well, I'm not sure what she is, but at the very least, she's not human. The two of us walk together in the snow. Once we get back, the strange man is working desperately on his robot. Today's another strange day. I wonder if there are any humans out there who know about these strange happenings. I suddenly notice the sky turning white in the distance. Another day comes to a close. Another day out of eternity. Okay, how's this? Please work. 1 second later, Alexei clacks the enter key on his keyboard. I shoot a glance at Anya, who's sitting next to him. She nods. I plug my ears with my index fingers. Why does this keep happening? Thanks to my makeshift earplugs, I don't have to expose my ears to Alexei's shrieks directly. After several repetitions of this cycle, I've learned how to deal with it. Everything was going smoothly up until the body movement test. Both Alexei and Anya said as much, and they have never looked like they have reached a dead end. However, ever since that little violent incident and my subsequent conversation with Yoru, progress just hasn't been going well. That said, it's not because of damage to the parts during the scuffle or anything. In fact, the only damage I managed to inflict with Yoru's help was some minor warping of the leg frame. Rather, the issue here is that once the hardware implementation was mostly complete, Alexei wanted to do a software test, but then the hole in the ghost pocket effect caused Alexei's code to disappear. Ever since we started coming here, less has been disappearing at a lower frequency. But nonetheless, things are still disappearing one by one on the software side, which is causing Alexei headaches. Since we can see the parts, we can consciously be aware of their existence and presence, but programs have no physical form and are incomprehensible to us, so it's hard to be aware of them. At least that's the theory as to why the code keeps disappearing. But Alexei just cynically said, I have to write the code faster than it disappears, and spent days on end typing up a storm programming. However, with every test, some part of the program would go missing and the entire unit would stop moving, causing him disappointment, despair, and... damn it! He screamed shamefully. Maybe things would have gone better if Yoru didn't go home. I pulled my fingers out of my ears and speak to Anya. I don't know. It's not like we can force her to stay, though. True, but still. After a bonfire conversation, Yoru walked back with me to Alexei's house, but she had this to say about his project. I just can't support it, no matter what. I'm sorry. She declined to help, and instead went back home. I didn't stop her, of course. And that brings us to the present. The mood in the lab isn't good, but I'm optimistic. Somehow, I just know they'll find a solution. Alexei's just that skilled of an engineer. That portable otaku guard was a pretty high quality piece of tech after all. The front doorbell rings. That's the first time I've heard that sound from the inside. It feels more formal than a doorbell at my place. I'll go answer it. Anya trots off to the entrance, leaving the hallway door open. Gue! For some reason, Anya's yelp gives me deja vu. Oh, right. It's like when I first met Clara. Is she back? Since the big house, the entrance is far away, so I can't make out what they're talking about. I decide to wait. I regret my optimism when several seconds later, men wearing coats march into the lab. Alexei, could you come with us for a moment? There's 5 men, large men. I can't deal with them while protecting Alexei and Anya at the same time. I grind my teeth. Hey, what are you accusing Alexei of? Anya rushes in after the men. You're abusing technology in order to blaspheme God, are you not? The man who appears to be the leader presses Alexei with a firm voice. He glares at Alexei. I can't help but follow his gaze and look at him too. He already looked pale due to stress and lack of sleep, but now he looks even paler. He's even whiter than a ghost. He reminds me of the worn-out bar of soap in my bathtub. How did you know? We have eyes everywhere. Anya jumps in front of the men as if to shield Alexei from those eyes. Hey, Alexei's free to research what he wants in his own free time, isn't he? I back her up without a moment's delay. That's right. What right does the church have to complain? The church must be stepping in due to my involvement. I thought things had calmed down lately, but maybe I've just been too careless. Either way, it's too late to regret it now. I will answer your questions in order. First, this man is technically an official follower of the church. While he is not a church-going believer, he is still our brother, and since he is our brother, we must have him adhere to our customs. Is that true? Yes, it is true. I am a follower, I understand, I'll come with you. But these ladies... Alexei! Anya shouts. Alexei shuts up. The man quickly interjects in the ensuing silence. Do not take us for liars. As for your other question, this man's workplace, the movie theater, as well as the amusement park, are both subsidized by the church. The workers are also followers of the church, though this fact is not well known. I can hear Anya murmuring that she did not know that. This man is both a follower of the church and was given employment by the church, and yet he associates with the ninja that opposes the church. We thus have a right to complain about his actions, do we not? Mr. Alexei, if I kill all of them... Alexei holds his hand out to refuse my suggestion. It's okay. I wasn't expecting the Inquisition, but this might be a test from God. Mr. Inquisitor, may I speak with the priest during my trial? The priest is a compassionate man. I'm sure he will listen to your words, no matter how asinine they may be. Okay, I see. Alexei approaches the men with his hands raised. 2 of the men immediately frisk him. There's a gun in my pocket. If I prioritize annihilating the enemy, I have fair odds of overall success, though not without sacrifices. But it looks like this is Alexei's problem, if anything. If that's the case, then I've got no reason to needlessly kill these men. Well, I'll be back, eventually. In my moment of hesitation, the men quickly drag Alexei away. We stand stock, still in shock, in the silent room. He protected her, didn't he? Anya murmurs, what do you... I try to ask, but since my throat's dry, it comes out weird. What do you mean? He probably didn't want to draw attention to his creation by resisting or protesting. Otherwise, they might have destroyed her. Oh, how shrewd. Yeah, he really is shrewd. He might say that he can't love or be loved, but I think he's got some character in that regard. Maybe you're right. He could really use some more confidence, though. Anya laughs weakly before letting out a big sigh. Say, Sayoko. Anya gazes into my eyes and carefully chooses her words. I know it might be shameless of me, but there's something I'd like to ask you. I get impatient and ask her question for her. You want me to save Alexei? Yeah, exactly. I know it's an unreasonable request, but I don't have that much money, and I can still pay you what I do have, so... What? Hold on, Anya, you don't have to pay me. When Anya casually starts bringing up the question of money, I frantically gesture that it won't be necessary. But I'm asking you for an unreasonable favor, and this isn't your problem to begin with, Sayoko. When I raided the church, you brought out the armored vehicle to come rescue me, and I didn't even pay you then. I just did that because I wanted to. Anya really is a good girl. I know it for a fact, and I feel it with my heart. I'm sorry. I know I sound weird right now. Maybe she's even too good. I feel like her dedication is going a bit overboard in this whole ordeal. This isn't your problem to solve, Anya. You're not a ninja, and you don't do whatever it is Pacifisa does. But despite all that, you're always doing your best and putting yourself in danger. You're so reliable. Oh, really? That's why I, just want to pay back for the favor. I always want to thank you for everything you do, but just saying thank you feels half-hearted, so I never get to say it. I'm running out of air in my lungs, so I take a deep breath before I continue. As you know, there are very few things I'm good at, but I want you to rely on me more. I'll do anything I can for you, Anya. I start running out of the room. I need to chase after those men. The Inquisitors, I believe? I once heard. I stop at the sound of Anya's words. I once heard from a shithead woman who was in that sort of crowd. She said, "That's just a group of outcasts. That lonely girl is just trying to force herself in to find a place she belongs." The nerve of her. Anya's voice is full of rage. I don't know the finer details of that interaction, but I can bet it was incredibly frustrating. I mean, sure, we may have just formed a group because we didn't fit into any other groups. In fact, I definitely think that was the case. But so what? Is it wrong to associate with like-minded peers? But it's not like we force ourselves to group up out of desperation, you know? That's why I've made up my mind. This time, it's Anya's turn to run out of breath as she gasps for air. I decide to treasure my friends as much as I can, so that I won't be embarrassed no matter who sees us. If I do that, then nobody can tell me that we're only friends out of necessity, you know? So, shit. I'm so uncool right now. I told myself I'd never talk about this. The tears welling up in Anya's eyes seem almost infectious, as tears start to form in my eyes as well. Maybe it's because Anya's so overwhelmingly precious, and I don't know how else to express it. Why are you crying? Come on. You're crying too, Anya. And thus, we both cry. I guess when it's just us two, without Pacifisa or Yoru around, we're just a couple of crybabies. Weeping together like this feels so girly and dumb, yet it's so satisfying. Once the tears have mostly stopped, I give Anya a thumbs up and speak up. I'm off. I'm counting on you. Leave it to me. I sniff as I run. My nose stops dripping. I fling open the front door and dash into the snowy outdoors. It's not too hard to catch up to men who are walking. Thankfully, since we're in the outskirts of town, there aren't many buildings to obstruct the view. Thanks to the fuel that is Anya's simple, earnest friendship, I'm filled with boundless energy, like anything I've felt before. Or unlike anything I've ever felt before. Basically, it feels like a comically overdramatic as I block the men's path all ninja-like. Hand over Alexei. You just quietly handed him over a moment ago. Please understand, I'll be okay. Let's just say the situation has changed. I point a gun at the lead Inquisitor. We're off to a good start. So you've changed your mind, I see. Do you intend to make this man back, or to take this man back, even if it requires the use of force? Well, I suppose you could say that. The Inquisitor takes a black rectangular object out of his pocket. I can't help but gasp. No sudden movements. I recognize what the Inquisitor took out. A transceiver. Do it. I don't know what came first, the sound or the impact. I pull the trigger out of shock. The recoil hits my whole upper body harder than I expected, causing me to take a few steps back. Oh. Why? I thought I'd brace my legs better than that. I get a bad feeling as I look over my shoulder behind me. There's red blood splattered all over the pure white snow. I don't even want to think about it, but I feel my abdomen a little lower than my solar plexus. Oh, come on. They got me. I've been shot, but nobody in front of me even has a gun out. I'm confused for just a second. Then I start to process what had happened with a surprising composure. I've been sniped. They've got a sniper. Shit, I screwed up. I scream out loud in an attempt to maintain endogenous opioid levels in my brain. The pain from just a gunshot wound doesn't come immediately. It'll intensify as soon as I let my guard down, so I need to keep myself at a natural high. If you call yourself a sniper, don't aim for the gut. Go for a headshot. One shot, one kill. I shout out like an idiot as I use the calm part of my mind to churn out thoughts at high speed. So that's why the Inquisitor is acting so smug. I suppose he's already planned out countermeasures for a ninja like me. If the sniper's been watching me this whole time, then they probably saw me climb to the top of a building, like some sort of action hero too. How embarrassing. They probably had themselves a chuckle looking at me. I wish I could smack them right now, but I don't even know where they are. As I think those thoughts, the snow at my feet bursts into the air. I guess that was a warning shot, as in, I can always shoot you again. I make sure I've still got a grip on my gun, but I'm not sure if I can keep holding for more than a few dozen seconds. My gut's bleeding even worse than I thought. If I make any moves, I'll reach my time limit that much quicker. I hate to admit it, but there's no way I can win. Go, ninja, go! I'll be okay! Alexei's hair-raising shriek snaps me back to my senses. He's right. I need to get moving. I back away, keeping my sights set on the Inquisitor, even if just for formality's sake. Once I've gotten enough distance, I turn around. I back away, keeping my sights set on the Inquisitor, even if just for formality's sake. Once I've gotten enough distance, I turn around and hide under the cover of a building. I find a conveniently placed garbage can and hide behind it. It's better than nothing at least. I close my eyes. There's no indication that anyone's pursuing me. I guess they don't like finishing me off, which is a bit of a relief. That said, I don't know where the sniper is, nor do I know if they can still see me. I don't even know if there's only one sniper. I can feel my consciousness fading. Oh, right. If I can just forget about this injury, then I'll be as good as healed. It's worth a shot, as long as I don't freeze to death beforehand. I feel my 5 senses fade away, even my sense of time. Miss Ninja? Miss Ninja, are you okay? My consciousness suddenly snaps back to reality. I recognize that grating, saccharine voice. It's Clara. As my consciousness returns, so too does the hot, burning pain of the gunshot wound in my gut. I groan. You're badly injured. You need first aid. Thanks to this asshole seeing my wound, the entire disappearing process has been reversed. I'm fine. Just leave me alone. Go do something else. I can't. I need to treat you. There's no point. I'm a ghost after all. Who cares if I die? I care. I found it. After finding bandages or something in her bag, Clara sits down next to me and leans over to inspect my wound. Her sugary scent frustrates me. Clara, why do you care so much about us? It's not like you need to. There's a ton of other people out there who love you. There's no deep meaning behind those words. I just want to get through to her that there's no point in her getting close to me. But the priest told me to. It was probably some sermon about the importance of friendship or something. What did he say? He said that I was the only one who could save your souls. He said he expected great things from me. I almost write it off as foolish nonsense before I make a sudden realization. I focus my hazy consciousness and reflect on the words Clara said. Clara, why did you go to Alexi's house? Because the priest told me that you guys were up to something at the movie projectionist's house. I can feel my heart start pounding. Did you tell the priest what happened during your visit? I sure did. The priest is nice and gives me lots of advice. Every day when I hang out with you guys, I always have a friendship review with the priest. As she says that, Clara tries to stick a bandage on my wound. I grab her hand without thinking. The bandage flutters down to the ground. You consciously did all of that, and yet you still don't understand what it is you've done. Are you kidding me? Why did Clara approach us? Surely it was because she was a simple-minded idiot who felt an odd sense of camaraderie between us. At least, that's what I thought. But that wasn't the case at all. Clara's a moving wiretap, a breathing surveillance camera sent by the priest, or in simpler words, you're a spy. Word of Alexi's girlfriend spread from Clara to the church, thus setting the Inquisition in motion. The priest used the power of his faith to raise this thoughtless, almost hopelessly optimistic girl into a splendid spy. I felt that the church had been pretty hands-off lately, but they had actually been surprisingly thorough in their surveillance. Come to think of it, when we met Alexei, he was working at the church-funded movie theater, and he's a follower, though a stray one. In that case, it should be a given that some of his co-workers might be followers too. We watched several of those co-workers walk by as we waited for Alexei. At least one nosy follower must have reported our conversation with Alexei to the church. After hearing that report, the church, that is, the priest, must have had some doubts about it. Around the time the report was made, Anya and I disappeared off the streets. I should assume the priest got word of our disappearance too. With all this evidence piled up, it's only natural that the priest, or at least somebody else, would come to the conclusion that Alexei's working on something with the ninja and the workshop apprentice. The church must know about Alexei's engineering skill. Furthermore, since he's a heretic, it's only natural that the church would feel threatened by him, potentially leading a violent revolt against its religious authority. At least, that's how I think religions work. Right after we contacted the heretic, we vanished like smoke. That should be enough cause panic in the church. The priest simply responded to the panic by sending in Clara. After some complications, Clara broke her neck, revived, returned to the priest to report all the details to the priest. Oh, speaking about Clara breaking her neck, Why did she even have that can of fuel to offer to the robot? Why didn't that raise more alarms with me? Clara knew we were making something there. Her idea of an appropriate gift was that can of fuel. I did nothing. I didn't do anything wrong. I let go of her pale, slender wrist. I despise you. A certain sort of despair drives me to speak in the coldest voice I can manage. Clara has been an irritating pest, but now I realize that somewhere in my heart I had started to grow fond of our semblance of a relationship. You innocently hide behind a facade of goodwill as you spread the ill will of others as an intermediary, all while feigning ignorance to protect yourself. I tremble at the thought that it was all just a ruse. I'm mad, maybe a little sad too. You're disgusting, filthy. You're far worse than the priest himself. To berate myself for my own stupidity, I have to act as coldly as possible to do what I need to do. I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. Just the other day, I came to help because I was worried about you, remember? I'm not a spy. No, you knew. You just pretended not to. You've been pulling the wool over our eyes, so your shepherd would praise you like a good little sheep. But you couldn't bear the guilt of deceiving someone, so you deceived yourself this whole time. I think the endogenous opioid levels in my brain are rising again. The pain has faded, and all I feel is a boiling heat like magma churning in my stomach. Clara cries pathetically, her nose dripping, but I don't feel a thing watching her. I proceed with the execution of a relationship. I feel like something similar has happened before. In this town, nobody dies, but if you kill a relationship, they're dead to you. Don't you dare show your face in front of me or my friends ever again. I'm never talking with you again. I won't hurt you, I'll just ignore you. No information for spies. Clara tries to say something, but I cut her off. Go away. But I tried so hard. Go away. When I shout, sparks start to fly in my eyes. Maybe I strained myself too much. I can't even hear Clara's sobbing anymore. So maybe I'm starting to lose my hearing too. Soon enough, not even my sense of time can drag me down. My consciousness disappears. No way. This is a 3-parter episode? Maybe I'll need to cut this off at some point. I have no idea how long this is going to go off. But really, I only have like an hour longer before I have to do things. So we'll see. I try to do an episode each stream every time I stream it, but this is getting to be pretty long. I feel so downhearted, but more than that, I'm driven by a sense of duty. So I reach for the doorknob, only to realize the door is locked. So I break it down, and I'm free to go inside. After a tragic defeat and my separation from Clara, I end up right where I started, at Alexi's house. I slip out of the hallway and head into the familiar living room and enter the lab. Sorry, Anya, I got sniped, so I was thinking of getting a bulletproof vest this time. I feel so miserable. I know there's no way I can speak on the spot here, so I say lines that I've thought up beforehand. Do you think Lo sells them at her store? If so, I'd like to borrow some money. So, it's not that I've forgotten the words that I was going to say next. It's because I notice a frowning, you're typing up a storm, and beside her, Anya stands up, and as she notices me, and shrugs her shoulders. Oh, I forgot to finish that. I'm definitely curious as to what's going on here, but there's something I have to do first. Anya, I'm sorry, I failed. I tell her the details of how I was dealt a pathetic defeat by the Inquisition. It feels especially humiliating after I confidently ran my mouth I think the only reason I didn't cry was because Yoru was right there. It's not your fault, Sayoko. You couldn't have predicted all that. Let's think of a plan together, just the three of us. Anya looks towards Yoru, our third member. I join her, but Yoru doesn't look away from the monitor for even a moment as she types away at Alexi's keyboard. I can't help but find her focus ghastly. Yoru, what are you doing? Chatting. Chatting with who? With Alex, pride and joy. Oh, come on. If you keep saying things like that, I'll pull out her motherboard. Would you believe that Yoru edited Alex's unfinished personality data and perfected it? That said, her body's gone. She's just running in the computer. So it's like she has no body, but she has a soul. I guess you could say that. Yoru's talking with her soul, and apparently she... Sayoko, this girl keeps begging to go see Alexi. But why? I'm curious to see what part of the conversation they're having, or what sort of conversation they're having, so I peek at the display over Yoru's shoulder. Oof. It's quite different from what you'd usually expect from an email or chat client. It's a black screen with a continuous string of green text that's not even broken down into paragraphs. It's so plain, it's vomit-inducing. I can't read this. It's not that I can't read any of it. I can barely make out what Yoru's typing in. But the messages that are apparently hers look like patterns of incomprehensible symbols. Ahaha, don't sweat it. I can't read either. She said, Alec must be allowed to continue working on me. With my intelligence, it should be simple to persuade the church. Prepare my physical body at once. Even after it's been explained to me, it still looks like patterns of symbols to me. There's definitely more to Yoru than meets the eye. She knows things that are unfathomable to us. And by us, I mean all of Ghost kind. She's kind of full of herself, huh? Maybe she gets it from Alexi. Prepare her body, huh? Easier said than done. Anya groans. I ruminate once more on the fact that Alexi created a consciousness, a whole personality, within the confines of a computer. It's kind of dizzying. There's an artificial consciousness that can feel, think, and desire just like me, casually sitting there as if it's no big deal. Things have always been like this, almost sinfully revolutionary things, just casually existing in our presence. But if I were to simply unplug the computer and destroy it on a whim, her consciousness would surely break too. Her existence would end as suddenly as it had begun. How fragile. But there's nothing nostalgic, something precious, about that fragility. I'm sure Yoru is the only one who can understand what she wants. Say, Yoru. Sorry, I don't think I can do it either. It looks like the personality data drivers are missing. Several internal parts must have disappeared when Mr. Alec was taken away too. I'm at a dead end here. There's nothing I can do about what's disappeared. Is that so? I really do want something for her, Sayoko, I swear. So there are things that even Yoru can't do, huh? She's not omnipotent. There are some jars she just can't open after all. Wait, no. I should stop judging every little thing Yoru does. It's so petty. If only we could enable her to do as she wants. I know better than anyone else just how fast that body of hers can move. If we could successfully install her into her body, we should be able to freely ask Alexi with brute force. But as long as she can't move, she's helpless. Yeah, I really need it. Some water. Personally, I was planning on preparing for a second charge as soon as possible, but I guess deciding what to do with her should take priority. I'm useless when it comes to solving these sorts of problems. I suddenly feel so worn out, so I take a seat on a nearby box. Whoa. I jump up when I hear a beeping sound. Oh, it's the cleaning robot. the thing Alexei and Anya worked together to create. I thought I'd broken it, but Anya assures me it's okay. Just to make sure, we watch for a few seconds after a red light turns green, and then... Eureka! Yoru suddenly shouts. She then starts pounding away at the keyboard even faster. Anya and I rush over to the monitor to see what she's typing. You should just go inside that vacuum cleaner. After a moment, that incomprehensible pattern of characters starts filling the screen again. Stop complaining. Yoru replies. The response comes a moment later. It's even longer this time. Having free will doesn't mean you will get everything you want for free, you know. Likewise, Yoru's reply gets longer too. She gets a longer response with a shorter wait. Arguing in chat feels so unproductive. Anya murmurs. Whatever, I'm gonna do it whether you like it or not. After typing in that message, Yoru takes her eyes off the monitor and turns to us. The monitor behind her fills with a response, then another, and yet another, before Yoru finally speaks up, as if to drown out the text. Wait, are you seriously going to stuff that shitty personality of hers into the vacuum cleaner? I'm fed up with her, so I think I will. It's got way fewer parts than a humanoid robot, and it'll take out the hassle of bipedal walking, so it's 2 bugs with 1 stone. I mean, sure, that'll take a hell of a long time. Well, don't worry about that. I'm sure I can get it done before it's time to eat, which is why I want to ditch the slow keyboard and use a more direct input device. Yeah, really? I'm sure there's something around here, somewhere in this house. As Anya leaves the room to look for a direct input device, or whatever, I call out to her. I'm completely useless here right now, so I need to do what it is I can do. Anya, I'll go to Alexei and... Anya turns around. The indescribable look on her face has me confused. What's with the weird, awkward expression? It must be because I failed to meet her expectations after all. I'm sorry. I'm sure you'd suffered a lot because of me. I'm so sorry. I shouldn't get ahead of myself like that. It's so tacky of me. No, I'm the one who should apologize. I failed to save Alexei. I need to try again. No, you don't have to go. Not now, at least. I try to put in a but, only for Anya to keep going with full control over the conversation. You must be tired from all the action, right? You should rest. You look exhausted. Besides, I agree with Yoru's thinking. We'll see how that pans out soon enough. We'll see? Yes, so let's just watch Yoru and make sure she doesn't slack off. I'm a little concerned about how Anya said, we'll see, but I decide not to go against her. I decide to sit down in a nearby chair and blankly watch as Yoru types on the keyboard. I should be feeling tense right now, but for some reason I let out a yawn. There's not really much I can do to help here, is there? I don't think there is, at least. Okay, done. I wake up to the sound of Yoru's voice. Yoru's voice. I feel like I'm pronouncing that weirdly. Uh-oh. I fell asleep. My body feels so powerless, as if my batteries had run out. My eyelids are so heavy, I can't even tell if they're open. I try to brace my legs and stand up, but fail. All I end up doing is letting out a groan. It's at that moment I realize how exhausted I am. Yoru speaks up when she hears the noise. Anya calls out to me and reaches out her hand. Thank you, I'm okay. Thank you, I'm okay. I can't even speak clearly. How embarrassing. I notice someone standing behind Anya, looking down at me. Is that Pacifisa? I strain my barely openable eyes. No, it doesn't look like Pacifisa. She doesn't have black hair, and this person's an adult. It's someone I know. That person suddenly smiles. I recognize that smile. After all, I've seen in a movie. It's her, the beloved woman Alexei was trying to create. I gasp. My head slowly starts to wake up. And like magic, my drowsiness disappears. Yes, that's her, but not exactly. To be more specific. The hell? I get up and stare at what lies before my eyes. It's the cleaning robot we were talking about earlier, but what was once a smooth, flat surface is now the uncanny valley of a woman's head. Her eyes are shut like she's sleeping, and of course, she's not actually smiling. In any case, it doesn't look like it was just glued on there as a joke. The base of the neck is attached to the robot chassis with some sort of adapter. The head parts hadn't disappeared, so I figured it'd be a waste not to use them. The neck also uses standardized parts, so attaching it was doable, but that doesn't mean it wasn't tough. I was able to manage with Anya's help. We're done. Yoru looks a little tired, all tangled up in some mysterious cable, but her eyes glitter as she lets out a victory roar. I'm so tired. All that's left to do is turn her on. Done. What about debugging? Anya asks with concern in her voice. She sounds a little tired too. Yoru did say that she got Anya's help. Yoru seems a bit tangled in cables. Yeah, seems like it. Who knew she was so good with technology? Nobody debugs anymore, that's what all the cool developers say. They definitely don't. Looks like a lot has happened while I was asleep. I must have been out for a long time. My stomach starts to gurgle in hunger, as if to prove how long it's been. I'm sure I can get it done before it's time to eat. Okie dokie, let's start the installation. Yoru loudly types on the keyboard, starting the installation. I look at the back of the cleaning robot. It's connected to the computer with a thick cable that looks like a water pipe. Several lights of different colors flicker on and off on the cleaning robot before the lights shut off. Beep. It's the same beep I heard earlier. Beep, 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 beep. Now that's a new one. This time, it lets out a bunch of short, rapid beep beep beeps. It's a little annoying, but despite all the noise, her head's still asleep. Looks like everything's going just peachy. See? You can trust me. After Yoru says that, the beeping changes to a more musical pattern, and then suddenly... Signs of life! Her eyes open. She looks somehow gentle, just like in the movie, but not passive. Her eyes are brimming with confidence. Even someone with hazy memory like me can tell their image is a perfect reproduction. She has the youthful looks only available to women on the cusp of adulthood, but she also has a certain sort of refined dignity that makes you want to protect her. Anyone who sees her would have the word fascinating burned into their minds, regardless of the details of what exactly they'd find fascinating about her. She's so fascinating it's almost destructive. As a result, the state of her body below the neck is such a pity. Suddenly, she loses her complexion and nearly tears her own head off. It looks like she's finally realized what's happened to her. She's been fused to a vacuum cleaner. Ha ha ha, congratulations! Yoru speaks from behind her. Her neck turns at an inhuman angle and speed to look at Yoru. She lets out the lowest, heaviest beep yet, then tackles Yoru with a force that no cleaning robot should ever need. Wah! As Yoru lies, sprawled out helplessly on the floor, the robot relentlessly pinches her face with an arm extending out of the chassis. The beautiful girl-faced robot lets out a flurry of wild beeps as she proceeds to physically punish Yoru. This is getting brutal. So she can't talk, huh? She's not built to. Her voice synthesizer module's in her chest, I believe. Oh, I see. Hey, stop talking and help me out. Ow. Well, you're just reaping what you sowed. I mean, I get how she feels, but let's leave it at that for now. I nervously approach her. Can you blame me? I've never dealt with a murderous, woman-headed vacuum cleaner before. And I touch her body. It's so cold and metallic. Hard to believe her soul is in something this inorganic. I mean, she wants to go to Alexei, right? We need to plan out how we're going to do that. I decide to change the topic. She lets out a few intermittent beeps that sound somehow disappointed. Yoru! You want me to translate? Sure. If you didn't stick the head on, I could have at least strategically disguised myself as a cleaning robot, you know? Think, you idiot, think. Ow! I try to soothe the woman-headed vacuum cleaner as I ask a quite logical question. Why did you do that anyway? I can't see how it was necessary. That's exactly why I did it. Try straining your side a little bit. See what pops out. The arm pinching Yoru stops moving. The head puts on an expression of sudden realization and... Whoa, watch it. Whoa, now try the other side, and the lower left too. Yoru cheers. The robot beeps in response as her arms, armed with arms, popped out of the vacuum cleaner chassis, each weapon more dangerous than the last. An electric saw, a blowtorch, an over-the-top machine gun, and I'm not sure what the green light emitting gun-shaped thing is, but you probably wouldn't want to touch it. What the hell did this girl do? Didn't you make that thing, Anya? Yeah, I did install the self-defense weapons, but the processor's throughput meant only one weapon could be used at a time. Plus, it only worked in low precision mode. That's why I gave it a flamethrower, since those don't exactly need precision, Anya adds in a whisper. I figured it'd be good enough for self-defense. I mean, its main function is cleaning after all, but the situation has clearly changed. Anya lets out a gasp. When I ask, what's wrong, she smiles and speaks unusually quickly, as if she had been waiting for me to ask. The technology advanced head, Alec, Maid is attached to it, so she's using the head's main processor. It's an insanely high-powered monster-class processor necessary to reproduce the vast number of functions of a human body. Of freaking course, it can control the weapons with ultra high precision. The robot must have heard, as she lets out a high-pitched beep, and then a gunshot. A certain figurine placed on Alex's work desk gets blown away. Now she can use her installed weapons with 100% efficiency. No, considering her capability is autonomously strategized, she can use them 9,999% efficiency. Ahahaha. The beeping overlaps with Anya's excited voice. The robot's laughing. I can tell that much by her facial expression. After looking at her face, I can only hear the inorganic beeping as laughter. Well, that's pretty much it. You're welcome. Now if you'll excuse me... Ah! Well, that goes to show how precise those weapons are. The robot hovers somewhat gracefully out of the room, apparently satisfied in exacting revenge for being made into an uncanny woman-headed vacuum cleaner. Where is she going? I guess it should be obvious. I call out to the cleaning robot's back, or is it called a stern? Did I miss something? I feel like I have to. She stops hovering, then she beeps. That probably means, what? I'm glad to meet you. Good luck. I didn't think anything to say, so I ended up working out some polite but awkward platitudes. I wonder what's gotten into me. After a few seconds, she lets out a staggered 3 or 4 beeps. Without waiting for my response, she starts moving again. I guess she doesn't want to talk anymore. What did she say? When I ask her for a translation, Yoru lets out an exhausted sigh. Something like, you're a good kid. Dumb, but good. Oh, and? I'll talk with you again if I feel like it. So that's what she's like, huh? That's what she's like. She's kind of rude, huh? It's like she's on a high horse. A high, hovering horse. But even so, that just goes to show you that she's got an individual personality, at least. And I think that's important to note. Okay, so do we follow her? Anya speaks up as I'm thinking to myself. Yeah, that seems like the proper thing to do. Well, after we wake up this girl this is. Or that is. Anya says that with a bit of a chuckle. I look at the floor to find Yoru sleeping on the floor that until just recently had a robot to clean up after it. She must be deathly tired. She did look sleepy until now that I think about it. Next. Maybe we should wait a bit first. Sorry, but I'm not as gentle with Yoru as you are, Anya. Anya and I, with Yoru in tow, follow the trail in snow left by the vacuum cleaner. The excess force of anti-gravity leaves a faint single line in stark contrast to the footsteps left by our bipedal walking. Oops. She must be heavy, huh? I think it's normal weight. It's fine. Yoru was so tired, I was unable to wake her up no matter how hard I tried. That's why I'm carrying her as we walk. But if you think about it, this might be for the best, considering the difference in stamina between me and Anya. Probably be too hard for her. Anyway, it really feels like that vacuum cleaner has gotten ahead in life, huh? Ahead in life? I know it's not exactly the right place, or the right phrase, but that thing was originally going to be scrapped. Huh? But it's so amazing. I may have mentioned this before, but Alec and I made that thing. I think I remember hearing that. You see, a famous rich person came to our workshop and commissioned a one-off vacuum cleaner. The offer was pretty generous, so due to certain circumstances, we ended up outsourcing the software to Alec. Have you met Alexei at all before that point? Nope. I don't have many personal connections, and it's his personality is like the embodiment of everything wrong with engineers, you know? I was a little worried if it would be okay to work with him, but I figured he does his job properly. Alexei certainly is a serious worker at heart, I think. He did go to work on time while we were at his house, but that might have just been a cover so the church wouldn't find out. He was so skilled, it came as a shock, even to me. When you're that skilled, I can kind of let a few personality flaws slide, I guess. He eventually opened up to me a bit, so I teased him about how overly serious he was at first. Anya stops walking and looks at me directly. Then he had the gall to say, I realized I could take it easy if I just didn't look at you as a woman, so I hit him with a wrench. She gestures the motion of hitting something with a blunt object before letting out a cackle. He definitely is that sort of guy, huh? Yeah, so we finished the cleaning robot, but as you'd expect, the customer demanded a retake as soon as they saw it. They wanted more luxurious functionality or more chic design. A bunch of worthless complaining, basically. But business is business, so we asked if we could fix it with minimal adjustments, but Anya, realizing that she had stopped walking, starts taking a few steps before continuing to talk, her eyes fixed ahead of her. Alec was there, with us, and he suddenly burst into tears saying, "How cruel can you be?" Oof. Oof indeed. Makes you think he's fragile, right? That's what I thought too. But then he said, "How can you say that in front of her? Don't you care how she feels?" He wasn't crying for himself. It's not like the vacuum cleaner had an AI at that point, did it? Of course not. But he seriously snapped at the lack of consideration for her feelings. That's crazy, right? He was crying, too. Is there something wrong with his head? Anya talks the way a boy talks about a comic book hero. That is, without any hint of scorn, just admiration, praise, and trust. Furthermore, he said, getting up from his chair, "This robot is like a child built by me and, this other engineer. Do you insult children in front of their parents? Do you?" It sounds like Alexei was shouting through the tears, indignant that the customer was mad when he was the one who should be mad instead. Anya continues. "You dress so classy for someone who acts so trashy. The customer got mad enough to leave without paying." I understand how he felt, but I'm still impressed he could say all that. Can't say it was effective, though. Honestly, if it were me, I might have thrown hands. Alexei must have worked so hard. He probably devotes his whole body and soul for paid commissions. It's all just my imagination, of course, but based on everything I know about Alexei, I think I've got an idea of how he felt. I guess that must be what Anya likes about him. Several days after that, he said, "I'll take good care of her," and bought it with his own money. We started talking once we'd see each other again for aftermarket service. So he's got some good sides to him after all. He sure does. He's got way more bad sides, though. That said, this isn't really the time to talk about this, huh? Anyway, please save our child, if you can. Of course. Oh snap, that girl just used more than 3 weapons at the same time, didn't she? We arrive at the explosion's epicenter to find a small crater. A little bit of the foundation remains of what appears to be an annex close to the church. I bet a lot of things have happened here, more than I could possibly imagine. Is she not supposed to use more than 3? Well, while the generator might be under control, the limiter becomes ineffective under a heavy load. I mean, look. She's using the same energy source as the car we all rode on that one time. After all, it's peaky but powerful, you know, and you don't even need to charge it. So when the car we were riding on exploded, it must have left a crater like this too, huh? Anya gasps. I follow behind her while carrying Yoru, who's still asleep. I follow Anya's gaze and find what caught her attention. "Alec, your legs, your ass!" Whoa, Anya... Alexei has lost most of his entire body. He probably doesn't have long, but he's so excited when he sees us, it seems like he doesn't even care about death. "She came here, I met her, she tried to save me, but then she overheated." "Alec, don't talk, you'll lose blood." His eyes sparkling, Alexei continues, ignoring Anya's plea for him to stop. "The way she fought was so beautiful. It's a pity you couldn't see it. It would have been worth recording. It's such a shame I can't sell it on disc." By the time the Inquisitors fired their first shot, she had already swept the 2 of them up. It was amazing. Battle heroines are so cool. I can't help but wonder. She was his creation, right? Isn't he going to say anything about how she'd suddenly been installed on a vacuum cleaner? I can't speak for him, but I can imagine him not caring in the slightest if her body isn't organic or not. The truth of the matter is that his creation came to save him without any regard for herself. In Alexei's eyes, what matters isn't if your body is human-shaped or vacuum cleaner-shaped, but rather what you do with that body. After all, Alexei's area of expertise is software, what's inside, rather than hardware, or what's on the outside. That said, what I think is the most Alexei part of this whole situation is how he's prioritizing praising her efforts instead of mourning her loss. Have you ladies ever seen a battle robot heroine in action? Of course not, suckers. Alec, sheesh, you're always such a handful, huh? All the excitement surely must have shortened his remaining time, but for some reason, I find it a charming sight to see Anya fussing over Alexei and holding the upper half of his body as he coughs up blood. I'm scared. Scared? What could possibly scare someone like you, Alec? I'm scared of death. It's hard to make out the words Alexei squeezes out. On closer inspection, his already pale face is getting even paler. At this point, he's almost like a corpse that forgot he was dead. Don't worry, you'll come back soon. You don't know that. What if I'm the only one who doesn't revive? That's so... Look, you'll be fine. I died myself a while back, but I'm back, you see? I'm scared. Please give me some comfort. This is getting kind of awkward. I seriously don't like the way he said that. I'm starting to get tired of carrying Yoru. We've finished what we came here to do, so I wish Alec would just hurry up and kick the bucket already. Men want women to be a mother figure for them, especially in times of weakness. If Anya acts like a mother now, this could be her big chance. Whoa, you're awake? Your back is just so comfortable, Sayoko. Yoru clings tightly to my back as she says that. I decide to leave Alexei alone until he dies, so I watch and pray that Anya can be a mother figure, or whatever. You can't just sit on the sideline, Sayoko. Knowing Anya, she needs your advice. Huh? Oh, Anya, be a good mother. Be open-minded. Huh? Mother? What are you talking about? They say if you act motherly when a man is weak, he'll fall for you. Motherly? I don't know what that means. Alexei murmurs something, but his voice is too weak. Anya asks him to repeat himself, and he speaks up a little more clearly. What's her face? The blonde one? You mean Pacifisa? What about her? You can't pull it off, Anya, but I think Pacifisa might be able to give me some comfort. She seems so reliable, like a mother who's usually strict, but will gently tuck you into bed when you catch a cold, so... Without even waiting for him to finish, Anya hurls Alexei's half-body into the crater. Alexei's already lightweight body has been cut in half, so it should be easy to throw him, even for someone small like Anya. I can hear Alexei's body sliding down the slope of the crater. Whoa, he really fell for you! Into the hole! Can you quit joking around and get off of me? Anya urges us to move on, right as I manage to shake off Yoru. Let's go! A crowd's starting to form. When I look around, the crowd's still thin, but ghosts are starting to gather around to see if everything's okay. Some of them must be church followers, too. In any case, I don't want to stay here too long. What's with all the explosions lately? When I hear the crowd of ghosts having conversations like these, I can't help but smile wryly. They've got a point. Are we going to call Pacifisa? Do you want to call her? Anya's threatening response lacks her usual blend of friendliness and charm as she glares at Yoru with the sharpness of a knife. The shock causes Yoru to take a step back and mumble, which is quite a precious sight for me to see. Wait, no, I shouldn't just watch. Sorry, Anya, I'll be sure to kill Yoru for you later. She'll get her just desserts. I'm so sorry about that. I consider prostrating myself. Oh, there's another mistake. I consider prostrating myself before Anya's facial expression suddenly lackens. I was just joking. Don't worry about it. I just feel like I've been in a traffic accident. You two feel the same way, don't you? Yoru says, "Oh, okay," and starts giggling again, so I slap her ass before we follow after Anya, who's already starting to walk off. Pacifisa's not the motherly type. Men like him just like to delude themselves into having the wrong impression of her. He doesn't have a discerning eye, huh? There's a reason why he's not popular. Thus closes the curtain on our mission to get technical help for crossing the snow desert. Whether it ended in success or failure, we can't tell. It's not our call to make, after all. The decision lies with... Pacifisa? Where was she, like, this whole time? Yay! There's probably going to be an after-credits scene, but I was going to quit at the top of the hour if it didn't end already, because it's getting late and I have things to do. And I didn't think that this episode would be 3.5 hours long. Anyway, listen to the ED, and then I'll do the after credit scene. But also, this is the end of the game for now. Though it is called Ghostpia or Ghostopia Season 1. So I can't wait for Season 2. I will absolutely play that right when it comes out. And I will keep my eye out for it because I love this game a lot. Is that an Ava reference? Thank you all for gathering today. Alexei's house looks like a mess, probably because the automatic cleaning robot is gone. The workshop's even more of a mess than when we first came here. We sit on random boxes and large cans as we talk with Alexei. We gathered at Alexei's house a few days after his bisection. I glance at Pacifisa's face. She hadn't had much to do with this whole mission, so... Why don't you call me? I will have abandoned work in a heartbeat just to come help you. She's been this huffing mad ever since we gathered. It's been making me feel a bit uneasy. You ladies helped me. Now it's my turn to help you. Thank you, Alec. Don't mention it. I'm only doing what's expected of me. I steal another glance at Pacifisa's face. To be honest, when Anya contacted us, she already told us that Alec was going to help, so this meeting is kind of like watching a movie after hearing spoilers. Wait. That's what it feels like, anyway. So I'm more interested in seeing how Pacifisa feels. I can't help but wonder what her take on the matter is. So, do you have a plan? Let's hear it. As Anya urges Alexei, it makes me feel like she is truly the moderator for this meeting. Despite all of the dumb things that have happened lately, she does her best to give both us and Alexei proper care and respect. It's touching. Oh, right, I do have a plan. Want to hear it? I want to hear it. Yoru answers loudly. She initially seemed to have her doubts about Alexei, but it doesn't look like that. I haven't had a complicated conversation with Yoru ever since the night we went to dispose of Clara's dead body. I wonder if it has anything to do with it. As I space out, Alexei clears his throat to start speaking. I concentrate my scattered focus into one point and listen closely to what Alexei has to say. First of all, from what I heard from Anya, there's a huge oversight in your lady's plan. The part where you're going somewhere without knowing where, that's no good. You're basically lowering your own chances of success. We don't know where we're going, so what do you expect us to do? We don't have a map or a GPS, so we figured our only option was to go aimlessly. Pacifisa answers with the tone of someone who asked to add two two-digit numbers. Yes, this is it. The reassuring feeling that Pacifisa gives off. Just being in her presence makes me feel twice as powerful. Oh, really? Alexei grins, sticks out his index finger, and points up. We all look at the ceiling. It's high and has fancy lights, which makes me think, wow, this really is a nice house. But that's it. I don't get where we're supposed to be looking at. My thinking is that before you look outwards, you should look upwards. Pacifisa gasps. I still don't get it. Maybe I'm not concentrating hard enough. We'll launch a rocket. It's true that we have no maps, nor satellites to rely on in this town. Radio waves are also a non-starter. In that case, we'll just have to make maps of our own. We'll launch a rocket and get a bird's eye view. Once we know the surrounding terrain and distances, that's when we can finally stand at the starting line. Wow. I'm easily impressed, but I really do think it's impressive. He's got a point. We may have been a little too haphazard with our approach. Alexei's brain quickly noticed our plan's weak spot, and that was in our blind spot and gave a suggestion to rectify it. This might actually work. I'm honestly excited. So that's what you were thinking, huh? Pacifisa speaks without any change in her tone at all. Alexei must have been expecting some sort of reaction too, as he just mumbles, yeah, in response. Meanwhile, hearing Pacifisa's voice sends my inner monologue into overdrive. Building a rocket would be difficult, wouldn't it? But then again, they did manage to build a robot, kinda. It's a good plan, I'd say. The air of tension instantly dissipates, as I realize I've forgotten to breathe. Looks like Anya's the same way, as I can see her shoulders move as she takes a deep breath. There's no way a plan can fail if Alexei's thought it up and Pacifisa's given her approval. At least that's what I think. I'm sure Anya approves of the plan too. But that just leaves one person. Hey, what's with that look, Sayoko? It's a rocket we're talking about. Rockets are cool. They are, as long as they don't explode, that is. Well, you know what they say. Toast lands butter side down. So you gotta make sure the toast doesn't fall. I just did that this morning. Oh yeah, that was a huge explosion, huh? Hey, stop jinxing it. We're all unanimously in favor of Alexei's plan, but he says we need to regroup at a later date after he works out the finer details. We have no real reason to refuse, so we accept his proposal. Then he pretty much kicks us out. But it doesn't feel bad at all. As for why, there's a cafe we like to go to, so let's hold our next meeting over there. I've never been to a cafe before. Just come with us and check it out. We need to learn more about each other. Okay, I suppose you're right. It's probably because I got to hear the conversation as we leave the house, since we're at the back of the line. When I speak up, Alexei quietly offers me a seat, acting as if he knew I wanted to talk. I tell him I want to keep it short, since Pacifisa and the others are waiting for me outside. In response, he asks me what's wrong. Are you sure about this? Obviously, I'm referring to how the life Alexei was trying to bring into this world came to an abrupt end. In the end, she couldn't use the body you worked so hard to create, and she even broke the body she did end up using, and now she's gone. I think we failed you. I didn't expect you to help us. If you do think we failed, and still helping us out in a sense of obligation, then why so negative, LOL? Who are you? Me? Alexei laughs out loud after saying that. I'd rather not listen to his guffawing for another second, so I press him to continue. Please don't mock me. I wanted to be helpful in the end. Well, yeah, I definitely had regrets when I had my lower half blown off. For one, I regretted asking you ladies for help. Do you remember what happened back then? How Anya looked after you? A little bit. You were there too, weren't you? Honestly, my memory's a little hazy. Did I say something strange? No, not really. Please continue. I woke up at the garbage dump, and yeah, that's not actually that big of a deal, huh? Easy peasy. Then I went home. There was evidence that someone used my workshop. I knew right away that it was your roommate. Well, yeah. That's when I did a system check and found a letter from her, hidden somewhere in the server. That's when I knew the experiment was a success. I don't know if I should ask, but what did the letter say? Alexei says, "Oh, it's nothing, really," before continuing to tell me anyway. She said, "Obviously, don't even think of trying to make another me. That should go without saying." Oh, that's nice. The last thing she told me was that I was dumb, so that sounds like a believable letter. That said, I feel like she's got a surprising amount of love for Alexei. At least that's the impression I got from what little time I spent with her. Nice? Alexei looks at me, with his eyes popped open. Sorry, As I stumble with my words, his face starts to warp in ecstasy. I want to get out of here. I guess he really is a dreadful person after all. Moe! Huh? That was incredibly moe, you know? I'm glad you came. That's a word from your home country, right? She started with, obviously, and ended with, that should go without saying. Really re-emphasized her point, you know? That's a cliche among advanced AI heroines. But that's what makes them so classic, you know? You really do need counseling soon. This is what moe means, right? It's gotta be. I won. In your face, suckers. Who did you win against, exactly? Every otaku has ever dreamed of romance with artificial intelligence. Congratulations. This is what the world was meant for. Was it really romance, though? Maybe it was familial love or something. But then again, I can just imagine Yoru saying, what men perceive as romance isn't necessarily romance, while giving me a thumbs up. I see. Makes sense. Are you going to remake her once things have calmed down? What kind of jerk would see something like that and have the gall to think they could make a sequel? I let out a small sigh of relief. Alexei's motivations might be beyond my grasp, but at least he's not completely unreasonable. What I gained and lost here was both life and death. I was able to create both. I may have been excommunicated from the church, but it looks like I've been spared by God. For now. Despite his triumphant words, Alexei's face quickly darkens. I thought he had long since stopped caring about reproducing God's work. To create life is to have ambitions for the future. To create death is to obtain a certain sort of repose. As I created her, I thought I could help out ghosts in that regard. I was conceited. Yes, he did indeed mention that when he was creating her. Or, he did mention that when he was creating her. But now that I've lost her, I realize that death is sad. I can't ever see her again. I can't ever reclaim her. I can't even thank her for all that she's done. It makes me want to end hero. But I'm not in enough pain to actually die. We're not designed poorly enough that we'd want to die just because of that. LOL, but then again, we don't die for any reason, TBH. I think about her before I sleep, even though I know I can't sleep when I think about her. And when I finally do go to sleep, I dream of her, and each time I wake up, I feel despair. Somehow, I just know that this will continue forever. Alexei's truly grieving. It's disorienting how much he feels like someone actually died. I feel like I've lost someone close to me, once in the far distant past too. No idea who or when that was, but I just get the feeling. I can't figure it out. But Alexei turns around and sits at his desk, but he doesn't touch his keyboard or mouse. His chair creaks, and then he cries. Despite getting beaten to death literally and emotionally, I'm glad I got to meet her. I feel something like this has happened before. I'm just guessing here. As a woman, just like her, but I'm pretty sure I did something similar back then, too. Just as she was special to you, I feel like you were special to her. I'm sure she was glad she got to meet you. Or maybe I wanted to, but couldn't. Honestly, I wanted to talk with her again, too. When she felt like it, that is. I don't think there's any need for me to say that, though, so I leave it as a mental note. I should get going already. I head back to my friends, with the sound of Alexei's sobs at my back. Once I get to the entrance... Sayoko, you really are such a good girl. Huh? Pacifisa embraces me with her tears welling in her eyes. What you said was so touching, Sayoko. So tear-jerking. What's your secret to delivering such iconic lines? Do you take notes or something? Anya gives me a round of applause. Alex said it was romance, But what men perceive as romance isn't necessarily romance, you know? You already said that. Huh? This conversation's getting out of hand, so I slip out Pacifisa's arms, kick open the door, and rush outside. Okay, let's go home already. Everyone turns around and starts running their mouths as they run after me. I'm not comfortable leading the group, so I let Pacifisa take the lead. I stop in my tracks, close my eyes, and take a deep breath. The pitch-black world spreading out behind my eyelids reminds me of the specter of death looming around Alexi's house. I feel that what Alexei experienced was only one side of death. In death, there are those who are the dearly departed, and those who the departed hold dear. Alexei is the latter. In fact, as long as he is a ghost, he can never truly become the former. The same goes for me. I think about the other side of death, the other side I can never reach. But what if I could? I could have been shot to death when I went to go save Yoru, blown to bits in the car explosion when we tried to leave town, or impaled through the head by Renja's spider. Any one of those things would have been the end for me. I wouldn't have been able to save anyone, but I wouldn't have had to suffer anymore. Nothing could threaten me anymore. I can feel the darkness behind my eyelids sink into my heart. I've been caught in the allure of death and cannot escape its grasp. Death is all too peaceful. As someone who cannot die, the allure of death is spine-chilling. Could it be that I want? Sayoko! A bundle of warmth slams into me, almost causing me to tumble over. Whoa! I stumble back a few steps. I open my eyes to find Yoru. What's wrong, Sayoko? Let's go home. Saying that, she holds my hand. It's not warm at all. Her hand is as cold as mine. It's cold outside, after all. A few meters behind Yoru stand Pacifisa and Anya, my precious, precious friends, smiling at me. I smile back. I'm a little sleepy and hungry. We laugh. Yoru pulls me by the hand as we leap into the laughter. Death is an attractive concept to me. The peacefulness of death grabs my attention and won't let go. But I don't think I'm in any rush to die. I mean, just look at everything I have to cherish. That's just naturally how I feel. That's how I feel despite everything that I am. I really do feel that way. I'm happy that I can feel that way. I wish I could feel this way forever. I wish. That's now my dream. In my dreams, I can get out. In my dreams, I can fit in. The end. For real this time. Ghostopia Season 1. That was awesome. That was really, really, you know what? Let's fast forward through this. I want to see if there's anything else after this. But yeah, that was really long. I'm sorry for that being so long, everyone. My voice is so tired now. I didn't expect it to be like 3.5 hours. Ooh. But you know what? I'm kind of glad there's no Strive tournament today like I thought there would be, because then I would be absolutely late. The usual one today starts like, it would have started like an hour ago. And I usually like to practice for like an hour beforehand. So I absolutely would have had to cut this short. It's been a long journey, but who would have thought I'd get this far? The train started and land far, far away, heading even further, but all journeys must come to an end. I sit by myself in a small seat and clench my fist. I'll see you soon. Inside the train, the clattering of the railroad ties gets suddenly drowned out by an announcement. The announcement: the train will soon arrive at the next station, the terminal. I make sure I've got my single travel bag as I look out the window. The setting sun seems to weigh down on the horizon as I spot a long, sprawling fence that almost looks like a solid wall. I've heard so many times before that this town was surrounded by a fence, so I already knew about it. She's on the other side of that fence. Just thinking about it makes my heart feel like it's on fire. I've had to sacrifice so many things in order to come here, but that just makes the journey all the more valuable. It feels like the whole world has existed solely to lead up to this day. I think those thoughts as I watch the town's perimeter fence slowly approach. It's dark by the time I get out of the station. A cold breeze blows, and I suddenly want to go home. This is a ghost town. It's certainly lonely enough to have earned that name. Despite my reluctance, I quickly remember why I came here. To fulfill her wish. It's a promise I have to keep. I whisper to myself, I've come to see you. And there we are. Awesome! Thank you for reading. Thank you for reading through to the end. Please look forward to the story's continuation. I absolutely am. You bet your ass. This is like the best visual novel I've ever played. And now she's gone. She's gone. Well, anyway, as I said, I'm running kind of late for stuff. So, you know what that means. Let's find someone to raid. I'm sorry that was so long, but if you enjoyed it and if you stuck around until the end, you are awesome! Anyway, I'm gonna send you guys to... Yuzu or Sigrid and Bird? Actually, Sigrid and Bird are doing room review right now, and I love watching those, so I'm gonna send you to them. Yuzu, next time. Have fun, everyone!